Hey, we back, baby.
We did it. You said we wouldn't, but we back.
You can't stop doubting us.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, we'll
It's
keep
been like
going.
almost 50 episodes. Shit.
It's been 60 plus.
Nigga, stop doubting us.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get into
Last week's movie,
the season 4 finale.
No, this is the season 4 finale. The one we're about to do later.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right. Before we get into why you're here, which is the season 4 finale.
Yes.
We'll get into last week's episode.
Yes.
Excuse me. I was wrong.
But before even that, let's plug some dates, bro. We have dates.
Before even that, let's plug some motherfucking dates, man. Hey, we don't have sponsors yet. And guess what, listeners? One day, these are going to be, you got to hear a bunch of shit before you hear the episode.
Yeah.
So be grateful that episodes used to just start. Now you get dates. We're growing.
Yeah, we are.
We're growing. So you can catch both Beaners next week, Friday.
Ice House.
Yeah, Friday, March or June. I'm sorry. What is it? June. I mean, not June. April.
April's 5th.
April 5th.
Yeah.
Catch us. Ice House, two shows.
With Brendan Schaub and a special guest.
And Brendan Schaub and a very special guest, the Bee Sting himself. Friday, if you want to see us, if you're a Beaners fan though, and you live in LA, fucking come out, man.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun. Trust us. Trust us. You want to come out.
Also, April 26th and 27th,
We're out with the Beasting again.
we'll be out with Brendan Schaub. The Bee
Stand Up
Sting.
Live in Phoenix.
Stand Up Live Phoenix. That is April 26th and 27th. If you're in Phoenix and you're a Beaner, fucking come out, dude.
Come out.
And let us know. We're going to give you so much love. Please believe. Also,
We have more dates with Brendan, guys. We are.
if you want to just see Derek
Oh, okay, yeah, just Derek.
for a second, and you're a Florida listener, I will be in Orlando on June 4th with Pauly Shore. I will be in Tampa June 5th with Pauly Shore. And I will be Saratoga June 6th.
Sarasota. He tried.
Excuse me. Sarasota June 6th with Pauly Shore. And June 7th, I will be in Naples. That is a Friday with Pauly Shore. All those dates, get them on Pauly Shore's website. If you're a Beaner in Orlando, Tampa, Sarasota, or Naples, come out, see your boy. I will fucking show you lots of love. I will be at all those shows. We'll have a great time. And last date,
In September.
September. Farther out, Beaners, and there are going to be a lot more dates in between. We're working now, guys. Can you believe this shit? We're actually working now. September 26th through 28th. That is a Thursday through Saturday. The Beaners, Hassan and Derek, will be in Denver at Comedy Works Denver with Brendan Schaub again. The Bee Sting. All right.
Fuck yeah, guys. Hope to see you out there.
We hope to see you, Denver. Any Denver fans, come on out. We are that show in particular. We're very excited about.
Yes.
That's a very historic club, and we're excited to perform there.
Yes.
So. Come out and see us, man. If you're a Beaner fan, we do stand up, and we actually do it pretty okay, kind of sometimes.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
come out and see
We're
us.
working. We're trying our best.
Yeah. But now, Beauty and the Beast.
Bro, fucking bangers. Bangers, dude. Every single song was unbelievable.
It's pretty much a Thriller album.
Yeah, dude. It was just song after song after song. As far as the songs go, no weak point. No weak point. Every song was sung beautifully. Every song made sense. The lyrics were unbelievable.
Deep.
Yeah, deep. They moved the story along beautifully. It was so good.
Yeah.
This movie is just so good, dude. It's tight.
He's never seen Beauty and the Beast.
It's tight. It's funny. It's a great musical. And also, you didn't mention this because I think you just assumed I would assume this, but the animation is gorgeous.
Wow. You know what? Usually when we do it, and that is on me. Usually when we do animations, I'll talk about the animation in length, and I did not.
Yes.
But that's because the story, very rarely is the story so good that I didn't have to bring it up. I
Yeah.
didn't have to even bring up that it was animated.
The animation is unbelievable. Unbelievable. From this, bro, the second it popped on screen, I was like, oh, shit.
The colors, that piano starts playing,
Yeah,
and then the
'cause-
colors start blending in, and then the stained glass story, everything is like, wow.
Because the movie is kind of older, so you don't expect the animation to be as great as it is. Just because, it's just technology.
You know what's though? But you said it during the episode. This was that golden era where this Lion King, Little Mermaid, dude, they weren't fucking around.
Bro,
on all aspects of those movies, animation, stories, singing.
I do remember thinking this in the beginning while the beginning of the film was happening, while the first song, I remember thinking like, man, years from now, I hope something of Disney during this time survives. Like, you know what I mean? Like thousands of years from now, I hope there's a copy of Beauty and the Beast that survives. It's just such a testament to its storytelling, animation. It's a testament of what we did as storytellers.
Yeah.
It's an unbelievable story. It's,
Unbelievable. You're
it's
absolutely
for
right.
it's for everyone.
Yeah,
it's for kids. It's for adults. You know how hard it is to make a kids movie that adults are like, holy fuck.
From a motherfucking 4-year-old to a
Mm-hmm.
motherfucking 94-year-old, this is hitting your heartstrings.
Yeah, it's just interesting. It's tight. The storytelling it keeps going. There's never a
There's
wasted
no
moment.
fat.
No, not a wasted moment at all.
I love how each thing leads to the next thing.
Yes.
Which is a very interesting thing that movies don't do.
And there's callbacks when she left the weird machine outside.
Yes.
And then Chip finds it.
Chip finds it.
Yeah. It's just everything served a purpose. There was no fat in this movie.
God, I love this movie.
It was great. The
Who's your favorite? What's your favorite? What's your favorite stuff?
Oh,
We
Lumiere
know all
is my
day about how
favorite.
good it is, but what's your favorite stuff?
Lumiere.
Lumiere?
Oh,
The
Lumiere.
candle. The candle's the shit.
The
dude.
candle's the shit. He's fucking the broom.
I love Cogsworth, but it's because of Lumiere. It's because he plays off of Lumiere. It's Lumiere.
They work really well together.
Great duo.
Lumiere. It's a very, very solid duo.
Great Halloween costume, probably.
If you could pull it off, yes, yes. My favorite part, this is my favorite thought I had in the movie because Chip has a bunch of brothers and sisters, and you never
Yeah.
really see them.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, you're the favorite son, Chip.
Of course. Dude, he gets to serve the guests. He gets to serve the master.
Yeah.
Chip's like no one else is doing shit. Everyone else has got to do that musical number.
right. Oh, the fight at the end was great.
Right?
Was great.
With him and Gaston?
Yeah. Yes. Him and Gaston was great. I'm talking about the war between the
war
furniture.
between the furniture and people. Amazing.
Yeah. Best part is that the people just were like, yeah, this is cool. We got to fight this furniture. None of them was surprised.
No one,
Yeah.
no one was ever stopped to be like, how?
Yeah, what?
How are you sentient?
Yeah, like, oh, maybe we should not attack this place. We gotta really rethink some stuff right now.
You're supposed to be like, oh, why shouldn't you attack that place? I don't know. The dresser was fighting back.
Yeah, and kicking ass.
And saying things like, this is my home. Like things that, kind of make you stop what you're doing.
Yeah, I could have watched, bro, someone out there, maybe us, should do a Ken Burns style documentary on that fight.
Who's Ken Burns?
Oh, you've never seen we had to watch it in school. It's like Ken Burns is the documentary maker, like the really famous documentary maker.
Which ones?
Civil War, baseball. He did one on the Vietnam War, World War II, all on PBS.
I've probably seen it. I've probably seen it.
You've seen it and youve heard of the guy too.
For sure. I've probably seen it and heard it.
But it would be really funny, I think, to make a serious documentary on that fight. Because it's just so funny. Because the house, I guess, fuck them up, bro.
Yeah, the house fucks.
The house wins.
They win decidedly.
Yeah.
like in one round.
Yeah, really.
It doesn't last too long.
Yeah.
But also, that's how that fight would go.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, bro, you fighting the stove, bro. There's also you're way more scared than the stove.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess that the stove got you on that category. On fear.
The stove is winning.
Dude, you see how scary the stove looks?
Stove was scary as shit. The stove was scary as shit when they didn't and he didn't eat the dinner. I was like, Jesus, what is this stove's problem?
The stove was so. Well, you know what? He was a chef.
Yeah, he was a chef.
He was literally like going. And
He was
that
Gordon
was in the
Ramsay.
and that was before angry chefs were a thing. So how cool is that reference?
They picked it up. They got it. It's someone whoever wrote that character knew chefs.
New chefs.
Yeah.
You know, chefs are always pissed. That's crazy. I mean, there's like a lot. We could get really. I mean, how do you feel about Gaston? How do you feel about the villain?
Great villain.
Yeah.
Great villain.
Right. I mean, that helps the movie. You want a great movie? Gotta have a great villain. That's what
and
it is.
it's just the pure narcissism of him was great.
Dude, the song. Did you love the song?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No one fights like Gaston. I like it. No one schemes like Gaston.
Dude,
one. Yeah.
It was like all horrible things.
Yeah. This is like. Why do people want to be this guy?
No one gets statutory rape charges like Gaston.
Yeah. Oh god.
I'm exceptionally handsome.
All the girls fawning over him.
The three girls.
Official names are Bimbettes. That's what they're called. They're the Bimbettes.
Awesome.
Yeah, the Bimbettes.
Well done, Disney.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
It was also interesting. Like the main character wasn't a blonde girl.
No, brunette.
Yeah, it was great.
And she's weird. She
She's
reads.
weird. She reads. You're not supposed to read. I thought that was so funny. These women aren't supposed to read.
I love that. That was like the through line, dude. I mean, he gives her a library later.
Well, I read the reason why one of the reasons why they made her read too was because traditionally up until that point Disney princesses weren't shown to be intelligent. So if they thought if they had they were like, if we have a girl that reads, it's like, oh, this is an intelligent Disney princess.
Yeah.
It's not just some girl.
But they
who
still
needs
make her
saving.
look like a dumb bibbo who needs saving, kind of. But no, I like when she's giving him when she's patting him down.
Yeah,
and she's
I
like,
mean, she doesn't.
You need to control your temper.
I mean, she doesn't really need saving. She switches spots with her dad. You know what I mean? She comes back and saves him or tries to save him.
She saves him, kind of.
Yeah.
It's
She only needs saving from the wolves. That's the only time she really needs saving.
in Chip.
And Chip, yes.
But that's a whole different thing.
But that wasn't. She wasn't saved by the prince in that
No, it was
situation.
Chip.
She was saved by the Chip.
Who was awesome, by the way.
Yeah, Chip is great.
Chip was a great character.
I mean, I can't. There was no. LeFou was great character.
LeFou, I love a good villain sidekick,
Who
man.
would get shit on constantly.
Oh, dude.
I mean,
The scary old guy who ran a mental asylum.
mental
He was
asylum.
scary, dude. As a kid, too. As a child, I thought he was so scary.
You know who plays Lumiere? Jerry Orbach from Law and Order, the old detective.
Really?
Yeah.
Bro,
French
they used to be
accent.
having great careers.
Dude, great careers. Angela Lansbury was the teapot, like famous British actress.
I mean, and she sings that song.
She sings it. Yeah, she wasn't.
How much money did she make off that song?
You know what's funny? I looked it up. She didn't want to sing it, and then Disney was like, "We'll record one version of you singing it," and they're like, "Oh, we're using the one you sang." They hired another person to sing the song, but they liked her version so much that they kept it.
Because, well, her version is the version. I mean, it's her voice. It's Miss Potts telling the story kind of anyway. So it just fit. It really nailed the movie, man. That it's her voice singing.
I mean, this is the whole time I was watching it, I was like, I'm having a good time. It's a great movie.
That's a great.
It's a great movie.
Beauty and the Beast is really fucking good.
Disney knows what it's doing. A lot of the time.
Most of the
not
I'm gonna
all
say
the time.
not. I mean, everybody who does that all
Yeah.
the time. You know what I mean?
But when they hit, man.
Also, when they're on a run, they are on
unstoppable.
a run.
Unstoppable. Whoever, if anyone was working at Disney during this time, during this golden age, just fucking thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving people our age just countless amounts of entertainment.
Is the new golden age like Inside Out, Zootopia, Toy Story 3?
No,
Is
because
that
that's
the
all
new golden age?
That's more like Pixar. The new golden age is those
But that's the new
animated
golden age
movies.
of animation, right?
Yeah, but a lot of those weren't pure Disney. Inside Out might have been.
I would say those are the best animated movies to come out.
Yes.
In our time.
Yes. I guess you would call, but I think Pixar is its own sort of thing because it was its own thing for a while without Disney.
You know what else? They had that great run too, where they like Finding Nemo. That
Dude,
was that
there
was,
was
unreal as well.
I think up until Cars 2, Pixar didn't really
Cars
miss.
1 was off the shit.
Pixar didn't miss until Cars 2. I think that was their first kind of miss.
Cars 3 is good.
I enjoyed it.
We were my dad was talking about it. Like, he was like, I didn't like it, but it's still very enjoyable. He was like, it's not Cars 1. I was like, no, it's not Cars 1. But you don't watch it going, like Cars 2, you go, what the fuck? I don't even remember what happens.
That's funny.
I remember Cars 1 and Cars 3.
Yeah. Pixar misses sometimes now, like The Last Dinosaur or whatever.
That was garbage. I saw that.
Yeah. But from fucking Toy Story,
Who's Coco?
Pixar.
Is I.
But people.
Moana's I. A lot
Moana's
of these are
not
I.
Pixar. Moana's Disney.
It's I. I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
these, they're all right. They're good.
And
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to think. What's the Toy Story 4, bro? Man, what y'all gonna do?
we'll see.
What y'all gonna do? Toy Story 4.
We'll see. But Disney, you've earned some trust. I'll tell you that right now. I will tell you that right now. You've earned oh, bro, this movie was Beauty and the Beast, guys. Just watch it.
Just
watch it.
Hey,
Just watch it. If
They,
you haven't-
they saw it. Hey, dude, bro, it's you. Okay. No one in here is like, oh, no, it's you. We all were like, oh, he saw it. If you're any beater that we do have is definitely like, yeah, Hassan, you saw it.
That's fine.
We are good. Thank you guys. But if you guys seen the one we're about to do next, holy shit.
And we'll be back in a second. We did it. We're back.
What up?
We're back.
Hey. What up, Beaners? And I'm excited
Let's see.
for today's episode.
How are we ending season 4, Derek?
Season 4, we're going to wrap it up with this movie that you Beaners, I'm sure are like, what? Why the fuck? What? I'm sure you guys are like, what? Wow, who does this movie? I do this movie. Hassan,
Yes.
explain to me
Okay.
what you perceive happens
Okay.
in the classic
Ooh, classic.
12 Years a Slave.
Oh, shit. We're finally doing this one. I wasn't looking forward to this one. 'Cause it seems like it's... You know what? No. This is a feel-good movie about the time America was at its best. Man, No, this movie seems
Wrong
very
hat for
sad.
this. I pull out the MAGA hat.
The
How
MAGA
stupid
hat.
that'd have been.
That would have been so funny if you had the MAGA hat on instead of the Baltimore Orioles.
Same vibe.
Ah, is it? Oh, shit. Okay. So, 12 Years a Slave. So it's about, we start with a freed black man and his wife.
Do you know who he is?
I don't know who the guy is. I know.
The
I
actor?
think his no.
No.
I
I'm
think
just saying.
the guy, the girl. I know the girl is Lupita.
Mm-hmm.
I know she's in this one. And then, they are traveling somewhere in the South
Mm-hmm.
for business of some kind.
Him and his wife.
No. Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
Oh, no, they're not. They're near the border. They're not going to go to the South, but then somehow they get tricked into
So
going
they're
to the
near
South.
the line.
They're near the line.
Okay.
And they get
Well,
tricked.
give me a stake. Just guess. Throw it out there. It's your story.
South?
Well, near it.
So, near it. So they're in Maryland.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah. They're in Maryland, and somehow, somewhat or another, someone tricks them into
Both of them?
Yes.
Okay.
Crossing over the line to the South. And someone picks them up and says, hey, you guys are my slaves. And they're like, no, we're not. But then they're black, so no one believes them or cares.
Mm-hmm.
And then they become a slave for maybe 10, 11 years probably.
Wait, so they take both of them.
They take both of them.
They're not separated. Or what happens in this storyline? In this 12, give me something that happens in this 12 years.
Okay.
You
Oh,
know.
yeah.
Give me what happens?
So they start working. They're probably the owner is probably, their owner is still probably, the owner is probably fucked up, but he's not as fucked up as their overseer.
Do you know who the overseer, do you know who these actors are?
I think the owner is Brad Pitt and the overseer is Michael Fassbender. One of the two. They have that
Okay.
vibe. They have that vibe.
But you know who's in this. That's
Yes, I know Lupita, Fassbender, Brad Pitt are in this.
Okay.
I know that. Yeah, and then at first they try to stick together, and then maybe Lupita gets sold
Ooh.
to maybe down the river or a different place. But that's after Brad Pitt or whatever has his way with her, and then it's his story that he's just trying to find her. He tries to escape maybe a couple of times, maybe fails once, and then finally does, sort of able to run over the border, but he ends up not being able to find his wife, and he has to make a decision of fuck, I can't go back. This is my life now. I was a slave for 12 years.
And he gets free.
He gets free.
But he's that. There's no way.
There's no way.
Also, how would he find her?
How would he
anyway?
find her? Yeah.
It's not Django. This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
fucking-
His Wi-Fi's not working. Yeah.
Also, there's not a fucking trained bounty.
Right,
this
right.
isn't
There's
a
no-
superhero movie.
Yeah, this is just dude, life sucks.
Yeah.
That's
and
what
then he
this movie
writes
is about.
this book.
Yes.
His story.
This story.
Okay.
About.
And that's your 12 years.
That's not 12 years.
That's really good.
I mean, it's sad.
Yeah, I mean, but still good. That's
Yeah.
good. You didn't bullshit it. That was a legit movie.
No, I didn't bullshit. I didn't want to.
That was a legit movie that you just said. Not this
Not
movie.
this movie. All
of
right.
course.
All right. Never.
Obviously.
As never. Yeah.
Fuck. What are you saying, you idiot?
Well, I'm an
I don't know,
idiot.
you
Yeah,
dumb
you
fucking
try to guess
retard.
12 years to say without seeing it, you fucktard, and see where you go.
All right, buddy. We're about to do the heaviest movie we've ever done by far. You tell me,
know.
you ready?
Yeah.
You ready for
I
it?
know this is gonna be heavy, so let's start.
This film is based on a true story.
That's even worse.
First words out of my mouth.
Yeah, couldn't have been a fake one. Couldn't have given me some kind of hope.
We see a group of slaves,
Mm-hmm.
all right, and they're just staring, right, kind of right at the camera. All right, we see our lead right in front of him. You don't know who that is? The lead? Did you know?
Is it David Aloyu, that guy, the guy who played Martin Luther King, or is it Chadwick, or is it?
No and no, but I like that you know a lot of black actors.
Yeah.
It's a Chiwetel Ejiofor, the guy who's in Doctor Strange, the black guy in Doctor Strange. He
Okay.
ends up being the villain at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a
him.
great actor. He's in a million other
Okay.
things too, but that's
Okay.
the most recent thing I can think of. But him, he's our lead in this, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see him and all the slaves. They're looking at the camera, right? And then they start singing like a spiritual song, like as they're all working, right? And they're working their ass off as this master. No, well, they're staring, right? They're staring, and then the master goes, "All right, y'all fresh niggas, y'all in the cutting gang. Now you take your knife, you take the cane out, the sugar cane, right? You're on a sugar cane field.
Okay.
And you got cut the cane, cuts the cane, cut the top off the cane, clean the chuck off the cane, and throw it on the pile. All right, y'all the plantain gang. Now come on, boy, go work now, nigga, boy. And then they all get to work. They're all chucking shit, and then they're singing and like, you know what I mean? Like now they're just kind of working.
Right.
And then they show our lead, and he's just working his ass off, right, as the master dude's watching him. So they all go to sleep in these small ass slave quarters that night, and they're eating they're all eating like these real small plates of food, and he has some berries on his plates, and he's kind of just
Playing with them.
He's not eating them. And then he sits later, cuts to, and it's intense ass music playing, and he's whittling something. You can see him, he's whittling. You can't see what it is, but he's whittling something. And then late at night, he sits by a candle, small itty bitty candle he's got burning, right? And he's using the berries that he didn't eat, and he's trying to write. Like he's trying to use the berries as like a lubricant to write on this
like ink.
itty bitty piece of paper. Yeah, it's ink. Right? And he can't do it. Yeah,
Sorry.
I couldn't. That's a better word. I wrote lubricant. So he's trying to write, and then he gets frustrated and he throws it.
Right.
Because it just can't. It doesn't
No,
work.
it's not lubed up.
Yeah, it's not lubed. And so at night he's sleeping like next to like 100 slaves in the quarters, right? And he can't really sleep, and then he rolls over, and when he rolls over, there's another slave. It's a woman, and she's just staring at him. She's just like that, right? Mm-hmm. And he has no emotion on his face, and he's just kind of looking at her. You know, and they're just staring at each other. And then she grabs his hand and she just starts rubbing it on her breast. Like, she's breathing really heavy, and he's still no emotion. All right. So they stare at each other, and then she starts kissing him. She's kissing him. He has no emotion on his face. And then she grabs his like fingers and she like puts them in her. And then like she fucking like fingers herself until she like comes. And he's like, and then she like gives his hand back. And then she rolls over, and then she just cries. And then he rolls over, and it's him, and like he closes his eyes, and it's like him and his wife in bed, like clearly like a long time ago, and they're like dressed nice, and they're like holding each other, and they're smiling. Fades to black. 12 Years a Slave.
So that was his wife? That was his wife, or is this a difference?
No, that was a different woman. The woman fingered herself as a slave woman. The woman he envisioned himself in bed with what is his actual wife.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
Who directed this?
Steve McQueen.
Okay.
Yeah. So we see a man working on a violin. 8 Oscars, this movie. This movie's the shit.
So it's a bad movie?
It's awful.
Okay.
By the shit, I mean dog shit.
Yeah.
So we see a man working on a violin, all right? And he's tightening the strings and doing all the things, and he starts playing, and he's playing beautifully. You just see his hands. You can't see his face, you just see his hands. He's playing so beautifully. And he's at this rich white people party, and it's all elegant and like got a big-ass mansion and shit. You know what I mean? Everybody's dancing all fancy. And then he stops playing, and they all stop, and they look at him, and they're like, and then he's like, and he bows like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're far too kind, right? And they're all like, oh, bravo, Solomon, you know? And so he comes home, and he has a son and a daughter, and they're playing in their bedroom, right?
Right.
And they're like up playing, and he tucks them, and he's like, I don't want to hear another noise from you guys. Go back to sleep. And then he closes the door, and like he hears them giggling, and he kind of smiles, right?
Right.
And then he goes and he lays in bed with his wife, and it's that shot.
Right.
He's in bed with his wife. And then he's like, and he's talking, they're like this close to each other, pillow talking. And he's like, 3 weeks and 2 days. What, she goes 3 weeks and 2 days, and then he goes 3 weeks and 2 days, and she goes, what will you do without me? And he goes, I won't stay idle. And then she goes, it's good money. And he goes, if only I didn't have to share your cooking. So she's going to go cook for someone for 3 weeks. Okay. And he goes, and they kiss. So the next morning, he's seeing his kids and his wife off because she's going to go on this cooking job. They stay safe. You see their house; they're clearly doing well.
Yes.
Then it pops up Saratoga, New York, 1841.
Okay.
So they're doing well in New York.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
So he's walking through this park. He's free man. He's living next to white people. I'm talking about it's like a neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's walking through the park. Everyone's saying good day to him. He's clearly a famous guy in this town. You know what I mean? Like, good day, Solomon. Good day, Solomon. Good day. You know, all these white guys. And he's just like waving at everybody. And then you hear an older white guy go, Mr. Northup. Mr. Solomon Northup. Mr. Northup. And he calls him over and he goes, I have two men who'd love to meet you. They're looking for an expert violinist for this thing, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, and they're like, I'm sorry, Mr. Northup, but if we could just inquire you for a bit of your time. And then he's like, oh, okay. You know, and he talks to him. And then they go and they're all conversing and they're talking and they're pretty much pitching him on this idea of this like traveling circus, big performance that they got going. And they'd love to have him. They need a violinist for like a couple weeks as well, a real musicianist. You know what I'm saying? And then they told him, he's like, I don't know. And then they persuade him. They'll give him $1 for each day.
It's a lot of money, 1841 time.
Bro, $1 for each day, $3 for each performance. So $4 on the day you perform. with all expenses travel and all expenses travel back to Saratoga in 2 weeks.
That's crazy. $4 a day? Plus all expenses
All the
travel?
days you perform.
Yeah.
So even the days you're not performing, you made
Still
money.
get a dollar.
Still get a dollar.
Yeah.
And you're not paying for any travel, and then the travel at the end of the day, you're pretty much your plane ticket back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is also covered.
Yeah. Your plane ticket.
Your carriage back.
Your carriage back. Your
Which
train
I'm
back.
sure. I mean, it would be crazy expensive just a 2-week travel back to New York.
Yeah. I wonder how much things cost.
Dude, right? Good question. So he smile like they tell him all that, and he smiles. He's like a smile, like, oh, I'll take that deal.
Right.
You know what I
It's a
mean?
good deal.
It's a great deal. So, and he's also a money making dude. So, and these guys are like, oh, this seems, So they're all in Washington, right?
Yeah.
And they're eating dinner now. Now they're in Washington D.C. They're eating dinner, and they're laughing, they're drinking, they're having a great time. He's making them laugh. It's kind of like shots of that, like just everybody's having a great
Right.
time. And they're talking about how this week is going to be so profitable and blah blah blah. How they're going to start the tour this week, and they're about to kill it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it syncs up perfect with him. His wife's out of town. She come back. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what a perfect situation.
Right. It sounds almost like it's too good to be true.
So he keeps drinking, and they're staring at him, and they're filling his cup, and their eyes are getting a little different. And he looks at them, and he goes, "Gentlemen, your generosity, it's extraordinary." And they go, "Your talents are undeniable. Cheers." He goes to sleep. Camera pants up on him, and he's still sleeping, right? It's like we're tight on him. And he moves, and you hear, and then he rolls over, and you hear, and he wakes up. He's like, chains. You know what I mean? In a cell. Looks at his feet, everything. He's completely chained like this way, like this is chained down to the feet is chained down to the floor. So
fuck, they got him. They got
the
him.
whole thing.
Yeah.
And he's in like tethered clothes now. Well, not he's in his shirt, but like his pants are different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's confused as fuck, right? And he's shaking him, and then he starts remembering the night before, and he remembers himself throwing up. He's throwing up, and the white dudes are like consoling him outside the bar.
Right.
They're like, "Oh, you're gonna be all right, man." Blah blah blah. And he's like apologizing for how drunk he is, and then they're, he's looking at his feet chained up, and then he's remembering some more, and he's remembering like it's all fadey, kind of like he got roofied or some shit. Like he's getting carried up the stairs. He remembers that, and then he remembers being in bed, and he apologizes to the white guys for, he says he never drinks like this, blah, blah, blah. He's really sorry. And they're telling him, oh, it's all good. Don't worry about it. Just get a good night's rest. Tomorrow, you'll be as refreshed as the earth is new. That's what one of the guys says. I remember that line.
Right.
You'll be as refreshed as the earth is new. And then the other guy goes, let's leave him. Nothing more we can do anyway. And then the guy rubs his head and just goes, such is the pity. And then he leaves, and they close the door. And then that's like the last thing he remembers.
That's crazy. Rule 1: if white people are handing you drinks, stop. Just don't. If
You hear that, Mitchboro?
if white people are handing you drinks, no. Just no.
Yeah.
Just no.
Oh, God.
Just don't.
Especially in 1841.
Well, especially in 1841. Fucking 2019, I don't trust
Yeah,
that
don't
shit.
trust it. So
1841.
1841, you gotta come on, Solomon.
Hell no. Yeah,
Solomon,
yeah.
you gotta be on your game, bro.
Yeah, right. You got too comfortable.
So he's come to now, like he's completely like awake in this room. 2 white guys in her. Well, boy, how you feel now? All right, you don't recognize the 2 white guys at all.
Right.
All right. He gets up and he's like, my name is Solomon Northup. I'm a free man. You have no right to do this to me. And then they're just kind of staring at him like, what the fuck? Like, because they're Southernish. Like, what the fuck? Because he's speaking all fancy,
Right.
you know? And he goes, I promise on my liberation I will have satisfaction for this wrong. And then the one white dude like goes, produce your papers. And he goes, like, look at my chains, right? He goes, you're no free man. You ain't from Saratoga, New York. You from Georgia, boy. And the music starts getting real intense, bro. It gets real slow. You ain't no free man. You ain't free. It takes a long. He goes real long. You from Georgia. You hear me, boy? Mm-hmm. You nothing but a Georgia runaway. You hear me? You're not from Saratoga. You a Georgia runaway. Music's. And then right then the other white dude, he walks past him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he pulls the chains down. And then it just pulls him down like the fetal position. And then the white dude pulls out the paddle. whack, whack, you're a slave, whack, 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 you're a slave from Georgia, you hear me, boy? Whack, 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 whack. Bro, I'm not playing.
That's right.
Whack,
That's
whack,
right.
crack, breaks, shatters on his back. Then he hits him with the edge of the stick a couple times. All right. Are you a slave? No. Grabs a whip. Whack, 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 whack. Non-stop, bro. I'm gonna say for a full minute. The shot does not change. They let you feel every hit. Whack, 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 whack. And then he finally stops when he can't hit him no more. He's just literally like, whack, whack. That's what makes it so real. Because it reminds you that, oh yeah, you would get tired.
Yeah, you're beating a human being. There was a congressman that said recently that white men today have it worse than slaves back then, and I see his point.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Kavanaugh didn't deserve what he got.
Yeah.
Such like this.
Yeah, this is what's way worse than that. They asked Kavanaugh some hard questions, but it's not as bad as
He
it's
just
way
likes
worse
beer.
than that. Yeah.
He just wanted some beer.
Yeah, this guy had it way better than Kavanaugh.
Come
That's
on.
crazy.
Solomon Northup, you pussy.
Yeah. Try being Brett Kavanaugh, bro.
Yeah. People are going to like those jokes. So white dude leaves. Solomon rolls over, just mouth open. Like, bro, he's trying to catch his breath, right?
Right.
He crawls to the window. Help! Help! Help me! Camera pans back. He's so far away from anyone. It's crazy. So he sits in his cell.
Shit.
The other white dude, the one who pulled him all down to the thing, not the one who beat him, he comes in and he goes, he brings him some food, right? And he goes, I brought you some food and some proper clothes, boy. Go on and put it on. So Solomon takes his shirt off, and of course it's just the back.
Scarred and bloody.
Oh, ripped and bloody, right? Just completely bloody and ripped. You know what I mean? And then he gives him another shirt and he puts it on, and you tell it's in so much pain putting it on. And then he sits there and he stares at him, and then the white dude goes, no gratitude? Solomon just kind of looks at him. And then he grabs his clothes, and then Solomon goes, that's from my wife. And then the guy goes, rags and tatters. Rags and tatters. And then he leaves. So outside, bro, this movie's so heavy, bro. Every line is just like, damn. Him and these other three slaves are butt-ass naked. But these grown men, butt naked, bro. And there's a little boy who has little pants on, and they're all standing by a bucket, and they're cleaning themselves. And then they're like, clean them. And they're clean yourselves, boys, and clean that little boy, too. And Solomon, he grabs the little boy, and he starts, like, cleaning him. And the little boy starts crying, goes, I want my mama. I want mama. He goes, shh, hush. He's like, I want mama. I want. He's like, your mother will come. Your mother. Because the white dude's like, shut that boy up. He's like, your mother will come. But I need you to be silent, okay? And the boy's like, and then he's clean, and they're naked, bro. They're naked during this scene, so you know what I mean? Like, it's intense. It is just like, damn, bro. That scene really fucked me up. It made me cry just because he had to, like, there's a lot going on, bro. The little boy is crying for his mom, and he's not trying to be mean to him, but he's also like, hey, stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, or this, you know, like, it's just a lot, bro. It's a lot. So also Sam cried like. He had to pause this movie so many times. She's just crying like a baby, start to finish. Oh yeah, good luck, by the way. Me too. I cried like I've seen this movie 5 times, and I'm just crying the whole time. It's
God.
so much.
Why are you doing this to me?
So Solomon is he's talking to the other slaves now, and they're talking about what to do.
Yeah.
Okay. And another slave is telling them how they're going to go to market, blah, blah, blah. They're going, once they go to market down south, it's over for them. They're dead, all these things, right? Then another slave sitting next to him is you can tell is way more slave. Like he calls himself third person. He's like, oh, Master John gonna come get me. You know, I ain't gonna be going down south. I know my master gonna come get me. You know, he's like, Master gonna come get John. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like one of the, like that, right?
He's completely fucked.
Yeah. And so they're telling him how, hey, your master ain't coming for you, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you don't know that. My master gonna come get me. Master gonna come get John. You know, and then the little boy, right then the little boy's mom comes in, like into the cell, and then like she has a daughter with her, and then the little boy, they all hug.
Right.
Like, you know, remember when the little boy was calling for his mom? So now he's with his family.
Right.
So it's like a little moment of like
light
solace.
for a second.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like they're hugging and crying. And they're just like, thank God they're hugging. So the white men come wake up all the black people in the middle of the night. right? And they even whip that one crazy John guy a little bit, and they tell him all to shut the fuck up, and they don't want to hear one word out of him, not one. Nobody makes us peep, or they're gonna kill them all.
Right.
And they're sneaking them somewhere because you gotta remember they stole all
They
these.
stole all
these
these
are all
people.
free,
men.
either free or slaves that aren't theirs.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So these are people doing illegal shit.
Yes. Oh shit.
I know, right? It's a lot of levels. Also, it made I like that. I love this movie because it was, as far as any slave movie I've ever seen, it was the most. It felt so real and grounded in the reality of how the beatings to the of course the cruelness and all that, but the things like that, like the trade of it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And the
it's like
aspect of like how much business, because they're gonna get into that too. This was business.
Big business too.
Yeah.
Like if I'm a slave owner, and one of my slaves got stolen by these people, I'd have to go look for them.
Oh no! That's a lot of money. Do you know how much money that is?
That's so much money. That's so much money, and it's crazy how like
You almost, you know what, you bring up a good point I never thought about. You're almost, as a free man, he's in a shittier position than the John guy.
Yes.
The John guy
Someone's
loves his
looking for
master.
him.
His master loves him.
Yeah.
Someone's looking for him.
looking for him. I mean, he's someone's investment. The free man's nobody's investment.
Just your wife. And how much power does your black wife honestly have?
None. How
Free woman or not,
How
she's a
much
free
power
woman.
does your black wife have now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't even
point.
imagine back then.
Yeah. Her going to the police and then being like, what?
Yeah. It's crazy. And these are like,
That's a very interesting point. Yeah, this guy, you're almost in a better position to be a slave in this situation.
what's interesting is because you have to be a rich white dude to have slaves in this time.
Yes.
What's interesting is how they got all these poor white people to like work with them instead of being like, because the slaves is what made the poor, the rich whites and the poor whites, right? And that's what, and then in when the Civil War came, if you had a bunch of slaves, you didn't have to fight.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that like, even though they're in a better position because of these slaves, these people, the lower white people are still like, oh, we got to be them.
Well, here's the thing. Sam brought up a good point. Sam was like, it's so interesting watching this movie how you see there's the 1% of white people, right?
Yes.
The people who own slaves.
Yes.
Who are cruel to their slaves. Don't get me wrong, they're cruel. But the most cruel people
Are the ones who don't own-
the overseers.
Yeah.
The people who work a little bit below them. You want to know why? Because they're a slave too. And what do you do when you don't have a lot of power? You take it out on the person right
below you. I'm right below you.
See, this is Samantha Lopez, and I was like, oh, that's exactly what's happening. It's like, and that's what happens in society today. Of course,
Yeah.
you always go at the people who you can go at.
And then you like you basically the way you pitch it to the overseers, like one day you might be us.
Yep, you're good. No, even though you're never gonna get to own a plantation. Think about how much this plantation owner I pay you.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, how do you think you're gonna be I own land. I come from land owning.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost also, there's a little bit of that aspect to the slave owning as well, as you gotta kind of come from money.
You have to. You
You don't build empires to get to slave. I mean, I don't
It's
know.
hard. You can.
I'm sure a couple people did,
Oh,
but
that's-
I'm sure that, how rare was that?
Pretty rare, but there's also like there's also you can work your way up. This is America in the sense that you can. It is possible to go from nothing to something if you
In the
hit
time
right-
of slaves, and a person who did
Anytime.
not. I'm saying like a white person who
Yeah.
who come from a family who definitely didn't have the money to have slaves, or work for people who had slaves,
Bro,
to owning their own slaves.
There is definitely, and not a lot, but there are definitely some free black men that own slaves as well.
Of course.
Yeah. So it's like you can work your way up. That
Yeah.
is for sure, but it's rare.
Yeah, it's rare.
Anyways, back to this happy movie.
Where were we?
They told them to shut the fuck up. We don't want to hear
Sneaking them
it.
on. Oh, they're sneaking them out.
They're sneaking them out.
Because that's how we got lost.
Yeah.
They're illegal.
Yeah.
So,
And that's why I brought it up, because they're almost probably poor white men that are doing this.
of course.
Yeah.
Well, this has got to make money.
Yeah.
These guys you're pretty much bootleggers. You know what I mean?
Human bootleggers.
Human bootleggers. So they're sneaking them on this. They're sneaking them on a boat, right? They get them on this boat,
Right.
And the next morning, it shows the boat and it's going down river. The shots are so heavy, by the way. It's just showing that like that in the water, and it's just for a long. Every shot is so long. Where you're just like, man, bro, this is heavy. So you see these. There's a bunch of other slaves on the boat as well.
Yes.
And another slave tells Solomon, he's like, yo, to survive, we got to shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? You can't let anybody know you read or write unless you want to be a dead nigga. You know what I'm saying? You got to motherfucking just shut up, play ball, be a slave, be a good one, and that's all you got to do. And then as this is happening, another white guy comes down.
Man, how do you pretend not to read? That's so instinctual.
Also, his language. Remember when he was talking earlier, he was saying things like statute and limitations and things. You know what I'm saying? There's certain words, or you're just, that's your diction. How do you stop yourself sometimes?
Yeah. Well, we'll find out.
So, well, right?
Yeah.
So they come. The white guy comes down, and you see another black slave all chained up in like a Hannibal Lecter mask, pretty much, like
Right.
the whole thing. And then they undo him, And then the white guy goes, "You keep your fucking mouth shut, boy." And they go back upstairs. And you'll recognize this actor. He's on The Wire. He's been in a bunch of shit. Like, he has like a scar on his face. I think he plays the gay guy on The Wire.
He plays Omar.
Him.
Yeah.
He's in this.
Yeah, he's great.
He's amazing. So he plays like, you tell, like a rebel kind of slave.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he looks angry as shit. So the moment the white guy walks up, he starts telling them like, "Yo, we gotta fight." You know what I mean? Like, he's telling Solomon and the other guy, "Yo, we gotta fight. We gotta get out of this, blah, blah, blah." I love how Solomon's in the middle. The one slave is like the the educated kind of slave that's kind of like him is on this side, and then the big rebel slave
like
is on this
Angel
side.
Devil.
Yes, that's how the shot looks, right? And you know, the one guy's saying we should fight, the other guy's saying we should keep our head down, blah blah blah. The other guy's like, he's like, "No, these niggers, you can't trust these niggers to fight. Look at them, they're all fucking like lames. They don't know what to do. They just want to worship their masters. They're not like us. They're not educated." And he's saying all this shit, right? Convincing Solomon not to fight. Like we'll get out of this just by keeping our head down and all this stuff. The other guy's like, "Oh, let's fight. Fuck that shit." You know what I mean? Solomon's just sitting there. He's taking all this in. And it's zooming on his face, and he's just like, "I don't know." He goes, "I don't know what to do." And then he goes, "Days ago, I was with my family in my home. Now you're telling me all hope is lost? You're telling me no one knows who you're telling me not to be who I am anymore for the rest of my life? And that's how I'm supposed to survive? I don't want to survive. I want to live." Also, it's hard to tell somebody to survive who's already been living. This man has only been known, his whole life has known living.
Yeah.
As living. Like, not just as free, but like, what do I want to do today? Kind of living.
Yeah. And I can do it.
Yeah. So, golly, you think about the taking that for granted, bro. Just the idea of what do I want to do today? And you can do it. Nigga. So,
being able to move your hands. What are you talking about? Not even that. Just being able to do like that.
All of it, man.
It's all just changed.
Things like
crazy.
this. Yeah, come on. So at night, a white guy comes down, right?
Sorry, Brian Simpson. Slave high five.
Shout out, B Simp. A white guy comes down and he walks around all creepy, right, with a candle. He's looking for something, and then he sees the black mom with her kids. He kicks her, wakes her up. She wakes up and then she kind of like knows what it is. You know what I mean? And she gets up, and then as she gets up, the black rebel guy, he grabs the white guy's shoulder, and then when the white guy turns around, he just stabs him immediately. And the rebel guy's, and then fucking Solomon's like waking up to this, and he's seeing the guy already get stabbed, and he's like, "What the fuck?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the white guy's kind of smiling, and then he undoes it, and the black guy falls, and he just starts bleeding out, and then he still takes the mom upstairs. All right. And then the next scene, they're wrapping up Omar. He's already dead.
Damn.
Yeah, that quick, bro. They're wrapping him up, and they're throwing him off the boat. The white dudes, right? And the other slave is telling Solomon, "We're better off this way." You know what I mean? That nigga was just going to get us in trouble and all this shit, right? And Solomon's just watching his body float down the river. All lost. All hope lost in his eyes, bro. The acting is so good in this. It's unreal. So
Jesus.
they pull up to port.
Right.
An old white man is standing by the dock, and he's looking like this. Right? And he goes, "Clemens! Clemens!" And then Clemens goes, "Master! Master!" And it's the black dude who was convincing Solomon not to fight. Remember the one, because he was telling him all these niggas are slaves, they've all had, because he was saying as a free man, these niggas don't know, they're not educated. Like, he was talking to him as if he was free, convincing him, right?
Right.
So he goes, "Clemens," and then the Clemens guy, he runs up to him, and then the white guy, the white guy tells how these guys are like blah blah blah. You guys are stealing all this shit. I know you stole all these slaves. Either give me mine or I'll go to authorities. And then of course they're like, "Well, here, you can take your slave back," because they know they're caught.
Right.
And then the black guy, he's like, "Master, master," and he hugs him like a fucking puppy. And then Solomon is looking. He's like, "Clemens! Clemens!" And then they grab Solomon and they fucking throw him like the other way. And he's like, he just keeps screaming, "Clemens!" And Clemens is just holding his master as they walk off. That scene fucked Sam up. She's like, What the? Bruh.
Jesus.
He convinced you not to fight. So Solomon is, he looks back at he's looking around like at all the slaves, right? And he's looking at like, all their backs are fucked up. Some of them are missing hands. You know what I mean? Just heavy shots, just long still shots of him looking at all these people. Mm-hmm. And he's just dead in his eyes. You know what I mean? And he as he's looking at all these people, he flashes back to being a free black man walking through the town with his family next to other free black men. He's saying hi to him. And it's just like a real regular city, you know what I mean? Just in New York, he's just saying hi to people. And then a slave, as he remembers the day, it's like, you can tell it's a specific day. And he's going into a store and a slave walks by seeing him with his family. And the slave looks at him. He's like, what? Like looking at Solomon, and then he walks in the store, and then the slave kind of just follows him into the store like, what is this? And Solomon walks in the store and he's talking to the owner of the store, and the owner's being all nice to him, like crazy nice to him, like trying to, because he knows he has money and he's trying to like upsell him on a thing.
Right.
And then Solomon's like, oh, what's the price? And then the guy's like, oh, you know, like he's going back and forth, like
Right.
bartering, but like you can tell they like each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he's just slaves, like he's just never seen people interact this way with a black man
guy,
before.
right.
You know what I mean? Like with this much respect. Like you can just see it, you can feel it, you know?
Yeah.
And he's watching, and then finally the white guy comes in and he goes, Jasper! And he slaps him, he goes, Jasper, what are you doing here? And then the other white man, as he's doing that, the white man comes up and he's like, oh, and he's like trying to be nice to the slave. And then the North Solomon's like, oh, there's no problem here, like calms everybody, oh, there's no problem, it's all good. And the Jasper guy's just looking at him, and then he's like, out, Jasper. And the white guy looks at Solomon kind of crazy, and he walks out, and then it just cuts back to Solomon, and he's like back in slave life. He's just kind of looking around. He's just like, he just remembers that day, and it's just like, damn, that was just a day in your life, and now it's like something you're probably gonna dissect forever.
Yeah, you're like, oh shit, this is crazy. And now
I'm him.
I'm him now.
And I'm helpless.
Yeah. Ooh, Jesus Christ.
So, cut back to, he's back in slave life.
Right.
And they're being talked to by a new overseer, Paul Giamatti.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the acting in this is, I mean, dude.
Yeah, Jesus.
So Paul, he steals this movie kind of, even, you know.
Really?
So he's so good. He's quick, but I mean, it's Paul Giamatti. You know
Or
what
he's
I'm
only
saying?
in it for a little bit.
But powerful.
Okay.
So he says, Stan, when you hear your name. And then like he starts calling out roll. Everyone's standing, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, Platt. Platt. No one stands, right? And the only one not standing is obviously Solomon.
Yeah.
And then he walks up to him and he goes, why did you not stand? And he goes, my name is not Platt. And he slaps the shit out of him. What? Your name is Platt. Get these niggers on my cart. And then all the niggas, and like all the black guys get up, and he's just, Paul Giamatti, he's so stern, bro. You can tell in his face, like, whoa. You know what I mean? So all the black people are now cleaning themselves and bathing from this bucket, right? Paul Giamatti is setting up this gigantic mansion, and then now all the slaves are naked. They're all butt naked, all throughout his house like art pieces. And he's walking through, auctioning them off. I mean, dude, the acting, and that's what I'm saying. He's not being mean. He's being so, like an art dealer.
Yeah. He's like, this one will.
Oh, you're gonna love it. Oh, come here, go, George. Come here. Look at this. Look at the shoulders on him. Don't you need a strapping young man with shoulders in your fields, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, look at these, huh? This is a good boy, good young lad, isn't he? You know, like I mean, the acting is so good. Like the whole time that you are like, damn, this nigga is real. I believe him, dude. I believe this monster.
Yes.
Even though he's being so charming and like charismatic.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
monsters. That's the whole point of monsters, that you can be charming.
Oh, you're right.
Ted Bundy, classic one, just charming dude.
And it's like these guys had to exist. There had to be good salesmen who were with slaves, like who knew how to, even though you're selling a human being, still knew how to make you feel like, oh, it's not a human being. This is a car.
You have to not view them as a human being.
Yeah, well, he didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy, you hear the way he's talking about him, it's insane. Though, like the things he's saying about each slave it's a beautiful shot, just like a tracking shot, like the Goodfellas kitchen shot, where it's one long tracking shot of him going through the whole house doing this, selling it.
And they're all like, are they posed?
Yeah, they're just standing there like this, with their heads down, naked.
Fuck.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah, man. And so he's going through blah blah blah, and he's talking, and then he's showing off their bodies, and then he finally sees another guy to sell to, Doctor Strange.
Benedict Cumberbatch is
Benedict Cumberbatch.
I forgot.
Oh yeah, I told you, bro.
Yeah.
This movie doesn't stop.
What a name, by the way. If your name is Benedict Cumberbatch,
You better act.
You have to be, right?
You better be fucking good.
Yeah, you have. There's nothing else you can do. You can't be an accountant.
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch, CPA. Doesn't fit.
CPA.
No.
So Doctor Strange
Probably
is in
comes
this.
from a rich family too. You're not.
Of course.
You're not named Benedict Cumberbatch and poor.
Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
So he sees him, right, and Cumberbatch is looking, and he asks specifically for Platt and Eliza. Eliza,
Lupita.
no, the mom. Remember the black mom with the two kids?
Yeah.
That's for Eliza. Eliza goes, please, sir, do not take me without my children. He kind of looks at her, and then the Giamatti goes, Eliza, quiet! And then she's like, you will have the most faithful slave, sir. Please, she's holding on to her babies, right? And then right then, a white man comes up and goes, how much for the boy? as this is happening, right? And then Giamatti, bro, so smooth. He's like, I'll show you. And she's like, no. He grabs the boy from her. He's like, let me show you this fine beast, huh? And then he shows off how athletic the young boy is going to be. Like he's showing like high knees, up. Ah, look at the strapping. This boy's going to be a fine young beast, I'm telling you. And he's looking at him, and then he goes, 600. The guy buys him. The white man buys him. He's like, sold. And then Doctor Strange comes up and he goes, he pulls him to the side, right? Because the mom still can't hear any of this yet. She doesn't know what's going on. She's kind of looking like, and he's like, how much for the little girl? This is Doctor Strange. And then he's like, ooh, you see that she's a rare beauty. That girl's a regular blood. You can tell she's mixed. So you can tell she's mixed. She's
Regular
like
blood.
Like she's a regular blood.
That's some grade A racism.
Come on, dude.
Regular blood? Whew.
And then Doctor Strange, you can tell he's sentiment. He goes,
Yeah.
she's a child. And then he goes, okay. And he goes, have some sentiment, sir. And he goes, he takes his hat off. He goes, it extends as far as a coin. Dude, Giamatti's so cool. Right? I thought that was a great line.
Cool.
It extends. It's like, I'm sentiment.
Yeah, that's how you become rich right there.
Yeah.
That cold-blooded, like, no, I don't give a fuck. It's all about money.
You want to hear something? Here, this is all doing a side real quick. I know
right.
this is usually your job.
Right.
At the Comedy Store, where we seat people, it is first come, first serve. So what happens, we sell VIP booze and booze. That's how we make money. So what will happen is a group will come in. Let's say a group of 7, but there's only 5 of them. And the 5 will say, oh my God, it's our friend's birthday. The other 2 are on the way. They're literally just 15 minutes running late. Is there any way you could can we save 2 seats? Well, you see, we don't save seats at the Comedy Store.
It extends as far as the coin.
But my sentiment will extend as far as the coin. There is a price
on everything
to have your seats saved for your friends. Mm-hmm. There's a price for everything in life. That's where that took me.
That's where that took you. Yeah.
Not as a dark thing, but the same.
Yeah.
The same as far as money goes.
As far as money goes, and it's not as dark as this, but some people do feel fucked over, and that's how we feel.
But it was our birthday.
Yeah.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, man. That's the crazy thing.
$20 a person.
Like, it's not as, obviously we're not this, but like, it's crazy when people are like, oh, how can they do that?
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, you are not as far away from being Paul Giamatti as you think.
No, I know I'm very close.
You like, and people listening at home like, oh, I'm better than that. You're not. Remember that. You are not. You can do a lot if you know what you are. But if you don't know what you are, that's how you end up
That's
like that.
how you end up like that. And you just living, baby.
Yeah.
So, as far as a coin, right? Mm-hmm. He's like, and then he looks at him and he goes, do you take the lot or do you pass? And then Cumberbatch is like, I will take Platt and Eliza. Sold! And then the mother hears this and she's like, no! And she's screaming and she's literally fighting. She's fighting people to get her kids with her. And they're ripping the family apart. And Doctor Strange is fucking pussy. He's not even looking. So I love that they showed this kind of guy. A guy who's like, oh, wait a minute. So you telling me, Sam brought this up, you feel the pain, but you're not bold enough or human enough to stop it.
His sentiment extends as far as his coin.
But he feels it because he doesn't even want to watch what's happening because he knows it'll break him.
Right. But he can't do it. He doesn't want to do it.
Doesn't want to not do it.
Yeah. Whew.
The inner turmoil in all this is crazy.
It's a real person. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, I love about this movie.
I like that it's like not just a slave owner with a heart of gold. It's like, yo, this guy is
heart of fucked up.
Yeah, this guy feels
fucked up.
Yeah, he's fucked up, but he feels some shit.
He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do yet.
Yeah. Also, real people are more nuanced, and that's what that is.
That's a real person. This is a real motherfucking person.
It's a real person.
So the kids are screaming. Paul Giamatti's yelling at Eliza, you shut up. And then he yells at Solomon. He throws the violin and play something. And then he makes Solomon play violin as this is all happening.
Right.
And then they're just taking the kids away. All right. So they pull up to the house. Dr. Cumberbatch, Benedict, Dr. Strange's house.
Yeah.
And his wife comes out and she's like, you bought all those niggas? And he goes, oh, it's just 2 of them.
Is the wife anyone I'd recognize?
Probably.
Okay.
I think you recognize everybody in this movie.
Okay.
So, and then she goes, oh, and then the Eliza one, she's just, of course, uncontrollably sobbing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And she goes, oh, why is this one crying? And then he goes, separated from her children. And she goes, oh, poor thing. Come here. Some rest and food. Your children will soon be forgotten. One of the best lines in the movie, I thought. I'm not even playing. I know it's fucked up, but legitimately, it's talking about a cold-blooded, the coldest thing you can say to a mom, grieving.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have smiled there, but it was but I get it. I get what the writers did. That's
A grieving mom. What's the meanest thing? Because it's like, what's the meanest thing you can say to a grieving mom?
Is she a mom too?
Yeah.
How do you not know?
Yeah, that's what makes it. It's like, what is the that is probably the actual meanest thing you can say.
How far do you have to?
Your children will soon be forgotten.
How far do you have to look? How like not human do you have to see these people? These are people.
She's also sobbing uncontrollably.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how do you get to look. I'm racist, right? But I've never not looked at a business and been like, that's not a human being.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I'm racist because I'm
Armenians?
fucked up. Yeah.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, still people, but like, yeah.
I mean, don't come to the Comedy Store. You're not welcome, any of you.
But you know what I mean? It's like what?
But yeah, you can live.
How do you get? And
It's like your Yankees joke.
But yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, dude,
hate the Yankees,
I
but
hate the
Jesus
Yankees,
Christ.
but yeah,
Get married.
Yeah, get married and have your lives. Just so I don't have to like you.
Yeah.
But it's like it doesn't mean that you should never be separated from your kids. Jesus Christ.
Separating A-Rod from.
Yeah, hell no. I just don't want A-Rod to be in the Hall of Fame, but that's because now he doesn't deserve to. He just was a Yankee. But he gets to have his kids.
I don't want him to have
Jesus.
some rights, but geez, not all of them taken away.
Yeah. Just fuck the Yankees.
So next morning, it's early in the swamps, all right?
Right.
All the slaves are standing and they're looking at the camera, right? They're kind of just like looking, and they're looking at somebody, and it's Paul Dano.
Oh wow!
Actor from America,
I know the Danos.
Told you, dude. This movie does not. I don't stop. This movie is not going to stop.
Dano, that's how you
Dano.
pronounce it. Yeah, he's a great actor.
Oh, he's one of my favorite. He's legitimately one of my favorite actors.
You ever seen Prisoners?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we talked about that. Yeah. Oh man.
He's one of my. That's what I'm saying. He's one of my favorite. I mean, as far as character actor goes, Paul Giamatti and him, two of the best.
Yeah.
Two of the absolute best character actors, and Gary Oldman, three of the best character actors I think living today.
Right.
Unreal,
right.
those three. How deep they get in a role.
All right, so now what's Paul Dano up to?
You ready for who Paul Dano is?
Yeah, because you never know. He's
Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? I know that's what makes him such a good character actor.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he's a villain or what he is.
Yeah.
So they're all looking at him, right? And he goes, "My name is John Tibbetts. You gonna refer to me as Massa. This is Mr. Chafin."
Pointing at Benedict.
Yeah, no, he's pointing at another white guy. All right, he goes, "He's the overseer on this here lot. You refer to him as Massa. All right, so clap your hands, everybody." They're all looking at it like, "Go ahead, clap your hands. Like this. Go ahead, clap your hands. Clap your hands."
Look, I'm coming. Hold on.
Nigga run, that nigga flew. Run, that nigga, I'm gon' catch you. Run, nigga run, get you. Run, nigga run, but you better get away. He starts singing this song as they're all just like, and they're just clapping, and then they all get to work, right? But the song keeps going, bro. You know what I mean? He goes, "Nigga run, nigga so fast, nigga run, I'll catch his ass. You better run, the patty gon' get you. Run, nigga run, and you better get away." And it just keeps going, bro. And it's just that, right? And it's just going for a long time, bro. And he's singing, and then he starts whispering, "Run!" And it keeps cutting from them working to him singing the song to him. "Run, the patty gon' get you. Run, nigga, run. You better get away." Yo.
Whoa.
And then this is the best line. "Hey, Mr. Patty Roller, don't catch me. Catch that nigga behind that tree. Whoa, run. The patty gonna get you. Run, nigga, run, but you better get away." He's singing this to them, right? They're clapping.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to them. Solomon is watching him sing, and he's just like, just despair in his eye. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then it
that's a
cuts to-
despair moment.
Oh, yeah. Because you're like, this is it.
Right.
I'm really here, bro.
Right.
Run, nigga, run. The patty roller get you. Run, nigga, run. But you better get away. Because what's scary about the song is he's challenging you.
Yeah.
And like he's happy about it. Like, I want you to run.
Yeah, this make my day.
Please, and get away. Like, if you get away, I'm impressed. Because I'm impressed.
I got you. I told you. You better get away. You got away. Congrats.
That's what he's saying. He's like,
That's scary.
that's what's so scary about it.
That's
It's like, oh, no,
scary.
it's like, because he's letting you know people have gotten away.
I don't give a fuck.
But how many people didn't?
Yeah. Oh my God.
But you better get away. Oh my god! I mean, I mean, dude, how scary! I mean, and when you see him too, because he's a skinny, weak guy. If you've seen Paul Dano, it's not like he's a big tough guy. All these slaves are gigantic compared to him, but he's the one that and they're the one that look terrified. And you know what I mean? It's like, oh man,
he's got that Napoleon complex thing going on.
I mean, every slave owner in this. I mean, remember, all the slaves are
way bigger, and
way
stronger,
bigger, dude. Way bigger.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah.
So it's real. That complex going on with all these. As far as the men go, I'm sure that's why a lot of them, they would cut their balls off and their dicks off, because there's a lot of that going on. A lot of mental shit going on with the men.
Well, also, it's a good, in Game of Thrones, Littlefinger says, if you want to see who wins the war, follow the coin. Right?
Absolutely.
So it doesn't matter that all these slaves are so much bigger and stronger and faster, and it doesn't matter because they don't got no money.
They have no money.
No money. So Paul Dano's in a better position because he's got that cash
Even though,
money.
like we said earlier, he is a slave.
Yes.
He is a working. I mean, you know what I mean. At the end of the day,
slave is a little
You know what I
kind of
mean.
far, but yeah, he is part of the system. He's a cog.
he's a cog.
He's a cog. He's not.
I guess in the slave way, if we say a slave today, like a guy a slave at the office, it's like, yeah, bro, you know what I mean.
You're a wage slave.
Yeah, you just don't even see it.
Yeah.
You don't even see it.
That's a Doug Stanhope joke. The only difference between you guys and the slaves is that the slaves could see it. He's talking about people who are like stuck in minimum wage jobs and stuff like that. It's along those lines.
Yeah. This is a fucked up movie.
Yeah.
So the song keeps going as Doctor Strange is now in the front yard of his house preaching a sermon to the slaves, the house, everybody, right? He's like pastoring. Mm-hmm. So cuts back to all the slaves are walking to work, right?
Right.
Later that day, and they come up on a bunch of Native Americans with guns, and they all kind of look at each other. And then it cuts to they're like all dancing around a fire, and they're all smoking and having a good time.
Okay.
And Solomon's kind of eating their food, and he's watching it, and he's just as they're all hanging like, hey, yeah, hey, and they're all just kind of enjoying each other's company. It's a really good scene.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, which also is just like, wow, I bet that did happen occasionally. The occasional
Native American
passing of people, Native Americans who are still still doing their thing. You know what I mean? And black slaves. Yeah, and I'm sure there's also this double like.
This is post Trailer Tears, so there's not a lot of Native Americans left.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how they let you know. It's like 3 of them.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like sneaky, like they bump into them. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Oh, okay.
know?
So yeah.
Yeah, but they have weapons and shit. Like they have guns and they're like, so you can tell. Like also, it's like, oh, they're good. They're doing their own thing, which is interesting. But I'm just like, oh, that probably did happen every once in a while. Some slaves because I'm sure there's slaves telling stories of like, dude, we ran into a group of Native Americans. Like, like on their trails. And it's like, oh, this is crazy. So Solomon's telling the master, Dr. Strange, about how he can engineer a way to get down the river faster. And then Tibbets, he goes, are you an engineer or are you a nigger? Well, you an engineer or you nigga? And then Doctor Strange, he's listening to both of them, and then he keeps telling him how you can like get down the river faster, and he's using all these big words, and how he worked for these big companies back up in Washington through these different places and blah blah blah. And then they're kind of looking at him, and Doctor Strange and like Paul Dano's like, what the fuck? And then Doctor Strange's like, well, I'll admit it, if you ain't, I'm impressed. He's like, go ahead, collect the team, Platt, and see what you can do. And then he's like, okay. And Solomon, he has all the slaves like working, and then like cut to they're all doing precisely what he wants them to do. And then it cuts to him like floating down the river with like all these like extra things behind him. And then he gets all the way like right to the plantation, and then all the slaves are cheering, and then even the master's like clapping himself, and he's like, Platt, you are a marvel. You know what I mean? And he's like, oh, thank you, Master, for it. And the master kind of like pats him on the back, and he like hugs him, and then everybody's like cheering for like, oh, Platt, yeah, Platt, as they're all walking back to the house. And then the Tibbets is like, he's just pissed as fuck, so mad. So later that day, Master Ford calls over Platt, right? And he gives him a violin. And he says,
Is this Cumberbatch?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Master Ford.
Master Ford, okay.
He goes, my great thanks, Master Ford.
Master F-150.
Master F-150. And then Dr. Strange goes, my thanks to you. And I hope this brings us both much joy over the years to come. And he hands it to him. And then that line hits him like, fuck.
I'm here.
And he sighs heavy, and then he just walks away.
Ooh.
I mean, man, I thought that scene, I don't know why he so hard, because like, damn, the acting in it too, of just him like letting those words sink in of like,
I'm fucked.
I'm here.
I'm here. I'm fucked, and I'm here.
So Eliza the next morning is still mourning as if she had just lost her babies. I mean, just uncontrollable sobbing, right?
Right.
And Solomon is sitting next to her, and he's eating. He's eating, and it goes on for a second, and he goes, Eliza, it doesn't stop. Eliza. Stop! Stop, you're wailing! She's looking at him. He's like, if you let yourself be overcome by sorrow, you will drown in it. And then she's looking at him. She says, if you stop crying for your children, huh? And then he's like, huh, Solomon? And he looks at her, he goes, they are of my flesh. You know? And then she goes, well, blah, blah, blah. And then she goes, well, you know, this is how I deal with the loss of my children, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, I don't know how to get in the favor of old Master Ford. I'm not like you. And he goes, Master Ford is a good man, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, good man, he is a slaver. And you love him. You love him now. Anything to get in the good graces of Master Ford. He goes, I survive. That is what I'm doing. He goes, I will keep my head down and my voice low until the freedom is opportune and ready, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, is that what you think? You think you're going to get freedom? She goes, you think he doesn't know you're more than who you are, Solomon? You think he's that stupid? Huh? She goes, you go ahead. You call for him. Call for your master, and you tell me. You see what it earns you. And he looks at her, and then she goes, are you settled as your role as Platt? And he grabs her. He goes, my back is thick with scars. And she goes, I cannot accuse. I cannot accuse. I have done horrible things to survive. Horrible, horrible things to survive. But I still ended up here. No better than if I'd have just stood up for myself. So let me wait for my children, Solomon. She breaks down. Bro, that shit fucked me up. No better than if I just stood up for myself. So let me just fucking weep, man. I'm going through a lot right now.
Yeah.
On how of all the times I should have just killed one of those motherfuckers raping me.
Yeah, Jesus.
When I saw the knife on the table, all those moments she was like, I could have just killed that guy. Yeah, I'd have been dead. But well, I'm fucking here. And they took my kids. What the fuck? What is any of this? What is it, you know what I'm saying? Oh man, it fucked me, right?
Oh God.
She said, I did horrible things to survive. And I still ended up here.
Wow, this feels very hopeless.
Oh, 12 Years a Slave? Didn't seem like a promising tale?
Yeah, didn't seem. It's not the upbeat musical I expected.
How crazy is this? Lupita wins the Oscar for this.
She's not even in this yet. Bro, I was thinking about that. What? She's not even in this yet.
Fassbender, nominated for the Oscar.
Not even in this yet.
I told you, this movie's crazy, dude. This movie, we haven't even got through Paul Dano yet.
Oh, we just got to Paul Dano.
That's what I'm saying. We haven't got through his.
We haven't got through his story yet.
Dude, we have so much.
God damn. All right, so she says, let me weep for my children.
Let me weep for my children. So the next day they're at church.
Right.
In the front yard. She's still crying, just screaming. You know what I mean? Uncontrollable. The wife leans over to another slave and goes, I can't have this kind of depression about. I just can't have it. And she goes back to watching her husband preach. And even Dr. Strange is preaching, but he's kind of bothered by this, her wailing.
Right.
Know? So the next day, Solomon's working on a house. He's like building a house, right? Tibbets comes over and he says, hey, boy, make sure them boards is flush. Solomon goes, they are, sir. You calling me a liar, boy? It's all a matter of perspective, sir. You are using your eyes. I would just say maybe touch the boards to see how flush they are and use all your senses before rushing to judgment.
You're an idiot.
You are.
What a motherfucking idiot.
And he goes, I love this. Daniel goes, you are a dog. Just like that. Barks, you know what I mean? And Solomon jumps. And he goes, I want you to go get some nails from Master Chafin. And I want you to permits to putting on clapboards. I don't know what that means, but that's what he says. All right. And he goes, yes, sir. And he goes, and I want you to make sure them boards is flush, boy. And then he walks off, right? So as he walks off, he looks over, and it's two dudes, and they're taking off Eliza behind the barn as she's screaming, Solomon! Solomon! And he looks at her, and he's just like, Solomon! Solomon, help! As they're dragging her off, and then they drag her off. And then you don't hear her anymore. Kill her like a fucking dog, dude. Because the wife said, I can't have this kind of depression about.
They kill her?
Like a fucking dog. I can't have this kind of depression about. So, they kill her, right? fades to black. Fades back in. Eliza's character is doing a monologue. What it looks like. It's like there's just a spotlight on her face, right? And she's telling her whole story. And she tells a story of how, I mean, I'm summing up obviously, but she had a master for 9 years, pretty much, right? And it was this white guy, and it was the perfect life. She was living the best life, pretty much a freed woman. You know what I mean? And the master promised her freedom and all these things, and he would give her, you know, jewels and jewelry and blah blah blah, and vacations, and she was just living this amazing mistress of a life with this master,
right?
You know, and she even bore this beautiful girl. Remember the regular blood girl? That's how she got the daughter. Right? Bore this beautiful girl for him, which he loved. But his daughter always hated me, and hated Emily even more, which is her sister. Which would have been, you know what I mean?
Yeah, her
even though it was her sister, she still hated her.
Yeah, she's black.
When his health failed, she ruined our freedom papers and sold us. My poor, poor children. Fades back. Solomon is now eating alone. I love that they told her story because it's not the story you thought of her.
No.
I don't know what story I thought, but it wasn't that.
Yeah, it wasn't like she was living a great life. Yeah.
Oh, that would be someone's story.
Yeah, all this is like
it's based in reality,
realistic.
right?
Yeah. I hate that.
You need some Avengers shit, man.
Yeah. Make a magic worm.
Or you're looking
attack
for
New York
like some
City.
Django shit. Give me a cowboy who comes back and kills a bunch of niggas, like something, dude.
Yeah, shoots the sister and she flies back.
Yeah, you're because it's some kind of like fuck yeah moment.
There's no
you know
fuck yeah, it's not coming. All right, what happens next?
So, the next morning he is still working on the house. Right. Tibbetts comes back up and he says, "Did you put on those clapboards?" He goes, "Yes, sir, I did." He goes, "Didn't I say to get nails from Mr. Chafin?" He goes, "Yes, sir, I did." He goes, "God damn it, I thought you knew something, boy." He goes, "What?" He goes, "You black bastard. You strip your clothes." He goes, "For what? Tell me what I've done." And he pushes him. He's like, "Strip your clothes." And then he pushes him again and like grabs his whip like he's about to start beating him. And then they start fighting. Platt fights him back. And they're wrestling and they're tussling. And then Platt throws him on the ground. And then he gets on top of him, like full mount. And then he goes, "You will not live to see another day, nigger." And then he starts beating his ass. Platt just starts beating him. And then he grabs the whip and then he starts whipping him. Whoosh, 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 straight on Django style. Whoosh, 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 whipping the fuck out of him.
He's going to get fucked up for this, but good for him.
Right?
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
I think you can tell he still was feeling the Eliza thing too.
Right.
Of just like, man, what is this all even worth?
Yeah, if I'm going to die, I might as well go
I know, that's why I love that scene
king.
right before. It was like, oh, because it made this realistic of like, it wasn't like he just did this. It was like,
Yeah.
no, he was mentally there already.
He was going through some stuff, yeah.
And so he's whipping him, and then until the point where the guy, Dano, starts going, I'm sorry. Starts apologizing, please stop, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Right then, Chafin rolls up.
Right.
What's going on here? And he stops. He goes, he was trying to mess with, Tibbetts was trying to whip me for no reason. He goes, is that true? And then Tibbetts gets up and he's just so enraged. He goes, I will have flesh. And I will have all of it. And he runs off.
Right. Jesus.
And then Chafin, he looks at him, he goes, stay here. You run off that plantation, I cannot protect you, boy.
Who is Chafin is?
Remember the other overseer?
Okay.
And he was like, he introduced himself and he was like, he's the overseer.
Okay.
So Chafin, overseer is the guy who oversees the whole land.
Yeah,
he was just like the guy for that job.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, yeah.
So, pretty much, I guess Chafin will be his number 2.
Okay.
So
Right.
he goes, I can't protect you, blah, blah, blah. So he goes, if you leave the land, I can't protect you. And he rides off as well. Solomon stands holding the whip, breathing heavy, and the shot is for so long. You know what I'm just?
Yeah.
So finally it cuts to way later in the night, and he's sitting on the house that he was working on. He's just waiting. And then he hears a bunch of horses approaching. And he looks up, and then he just goes into despair. It's the fucking Tobias. It's him and 2 other dudes.
Tibbetts?
Yeah. They grab him, tie him up, hands behind his back, and they drag him to a tree, tie up the noose, hang him. He's hanging. Hey, what y'all doing with that boy there? Chafin walks up, gun's head.
Yeah.
All right? And then he goes, we're hanging this nigga. And he goes, gentlemen, whoever moves that nigga is a dead man. Ford, he goes, Master Ford holds the mortgage there on that Platt. You hang him, you have no claim for his life. Platt is mine. That's my nigger. This is Tibbets,
Yeah.
And then Chafin points the gun at him. And the other two dudes run off, and then Tibbet looks at him, and then he runs off, right? And so when that happens, that like they of course they're holding the rope on the tree. So this drops Platt, but the rope is still kind of catches. So now he's still being hung, but he's on his literally ballerina tiptoes. Yeah. So he can barely like like that. He's breathing like that, right?
It's very visceral.
Very visceral.
Yeah.
Okay? I had to let you know because it's right on him. He's
Yeah.
he's breathing like that, right? So Chafin walks up, and he looks at him, and then he just leaves him. Walks off. All right?
That's some crazy shit.
It's so intense. So he's just hanging there on his tiptoes, bro. So the shot's going.
Right.
He's just spinning on his tiptoes. Shot keeps going. Shot keeps going. It's been like maybe a minute and a half. You're like, what? Finally, people start coming outside. Other black slaves. They don't help.
Makes sense.
They literally just go about back to work. Everybody just as business as usual. The shot keeps going. They do not, bro, this is unreal how they got this shot. I would love to ask Stephen, how long did it take them to do the shot? It's insane. Dude, it is heavy. So everybody's now just walking by him. This goes on for so fucking long. Finally, a slave woman comes walking. She's walking past him. Looks like she's walking past casually. And then she runs up and then she gives him a little bit of water. And he's, and then she dabs his mouth and then she runs off.
Right.
All right. Chafin walks up, kind of looks at him again, and then walks off. You see kids playing behind him. Bro, it's later in the day now. This started in the morning.
Yeah.
Now it's like mid-afternoon, right? Shot is not, bro, this is maybe 4 or 5 minutes shot. You now see kids playing behind him.
White kids, black kids.
Black kids.
Black kids. Right.
Slave, they're playing, just kids playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
As he's, the wife comes out, looks at him, goes back in. It's now afternoon. Jesus. He's still there. It's now dark. He's still there. Master Ford finally rides up. Platt! Oh, poor Platt! Chops him down. All right? Platt is now on the floor of the mansion in the master's house on a pillow just trying to breathe, right? Ford has a gun. He's checking all the windows of the house, looking outside, Right. And he goes, no doubt Tibbets is around the premises. He goes, I can't keep you safe here anymore, Platt. I've had to transfer my debts to a Mr. Edwin Epps. He will take charge now. He'll be your master. Master Ford. Yes. He grabs him. Master Ford's like, what? He pulls him really close. He goes, you must know that I'm not a slave. I can't hear that, Platt. You must know I was a free man. I can't hear that. I saved your life. I have a debt to be mindful of, okay? Edwin Epps is your master now. And he is a nigger breaker. But he is the only one who would take you, Platt. You are one exceptional nigger, Platt. I will say this. But no good will come of it. And he leaves. And then Platt just rolls over. He just lays on the floor and just... You know what I mean? Fade to black.
Huh.
So, we hear a voice. And that servant, which knew his Lord's will, we zoom in on a face, we meet Magneto. Edwin Epps.
Michael Fassbender. He's here, baby.
He's here, and damn near you could say the movie has now just started.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm not even playing.
Jeez, we're an hour in. Movie just started.
And all the Oscar people just
got here. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The movie, it's pretty much like when Leonardo gets in it and Samuel. It's like, bro, we're just getting started now.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You ready for it? Like, you thought we were going. I mean, think about how dark and heavy it was. We're about to go now.
Yeah. Okay. Let's fucking wow. All right, let's do this.
So, and prepared, not himself, neither did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes. You see all the slaves looking at him, right? You hear that? Stripes. That nigger that don't obey his Lord shall be beaten with many stripes. Now many, now it signifies great many. 40, 100, 150 lashes. That's scripture. Cut to, we see our lead, the beautiful Lupita. She's picking cotton. All right. We see Solomon picking. All right. So Lupita's going at it. She's just picking. Cut to, they're all in a barn. They're all in line in a barn. Okay. All the cotton bales are next to them. They're doing like a count sheet. And one of the overseer is saying the count. He goes, 240 for Bob. And then everyone goes, good, Bob. We got 295 for James, 295 pounds. How much cotton they picked?
Gee, in a day?
Yeah, in a day.
Jesus Christ.
We got 182 for Platt. Edwin stops. He goes, how much can an average nigga pick in a day? And the guy goes, 200 pounds. This nigga ain't even average. Keep going. 512 for Patsy. Woo! That's Lupita. You menfolk have no shame, letting Patsy outpick you. And the day came where she ain't picked over 500 pounds. And then he just keeps going. He grabs her by her shoulders, and she's just like looking off. You know what I mean? And he's rubbing her neck. And he's like, a lesson. He's like, Patsy is a goddamn queen, born and bred to the fields. A nigga among niggas. He's like rubbing her neck. God gave her to me, you know. He's rubbing her. A lesson in reward for righteous living. All right, keep reading. And he goes, 138 pounds for Phoebe. 138. And he goes, how much she hit yesterday? He goes, 145. Pull her out. And he grabs her. And he got 206 for George. 206. How much George do yesterday? 212. Pull his ass out. Come on. And then they grab her, him, and Platt. And Platt's like kind of confused, like what's happening. And then they grab him. And then you see the others are like all going through their cotton. And in the background so you see the main shot is everybody going through their cotton. And in the background, you see three of them tied to a tree, and they're all getting whipped by three different people. Whoosh, 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 ah, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. As you see the others, but the shot is not on them.
Good shot.
Oh, dude.
Great shot.
So, we see Patsy, and she's humming to herself, and she's making like toys out of her hands and feet, right? And it's like a little doll collection she's making herself. And there's a white woman, the Fassbender's wife, she's watching from above. She's just angry, watching Lupita as she's doing this, right? So Solomon lay. He lay and he's knocked out.
Yeah.
Epps runs in. Magneto runs in and he's drunk as shit. And he wakes everybody up. He's like, oh, now, get your fiddle, boy. Get your fiddle. We gonna dance tonight. And he wakes all the slaves and he brings them all in their house. And then he has him playing the fiddle and he's making them all dance as he just drunkenly watches and like yells at them. Come on, dance, dance. And then they're all kind of like, they're all just kind of like moving barely because it's like you can tell it's so late and they're all just like, what the fuck? Lupita, Patsy, is actually kind of dancing to herself. She's just like this, right? She's kind of to herself, having a good time. The wife and everybody's watching. The wife's like, she grabs the fucking liquor bottle, big gigantic glass, gets about this distance, me and you. Randy Johnson's that bitch. Bink! Everybody, of course, stops. And then Lupita's just screaming, and then Fassbender just laughs. Like that. This might be I know it's just a glass to the face, and like I've already said these other things, but this is the hardest shot in the whole movie. This is the thing that because it's this distance, and it's that sound. Dunk! And it's just like, and then she's just screaming. Also, her eyes are closed. She's just like,
she had no idea what was coming.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So the wife comes right up to Fassbender as he's laughing. You get rid of that nigga. And then they start, and he's laughing, and they're arguing about she's like, I want her out of this house, blah, blah, blah. And he laughs at her, and he goes, I'll get rid of you before I get rid of Patsy.
Ooh.
And the wife is like, And she just leaves. And he goes, I will not have my night spoiled. I will not. I will not.
Yes.
He looks up. Everybody's looking at him. Dance! And they start dancing, and then they just drag Lupita out by her feet. And she's just, dude. So the next morning, everyone is picking cotton bright and early, right? What's his name's wife, Magneto's wife, calls over Platt, and she asks him to go to Bartholomew's down the road and get a bunch of like goods and groceries, pretty much, and add it to our debt. And tell him to add it to our debt. And then she gives him a note and blah blah blah. And then right when he goes to run off, she goes, Platt, where are you from? And he goes, I've told you before, ma'am. And she goes, say it again. She can tell she's real stern. He goes, Washington. And then she starts questioning him real hard, like trying to see if like he's educated. You know what I mean? And then she goes, you know how to read? He goes, a little, but not really. And she goes, well, don't trouble yourself with it. It'll earn you more than 100 lashes if you do. Yes, ma'am. Run along now. And he goes off, and she just keeps staring at him. Evil. Dude, the wife is evil. Evil. Hey, white women, you suck.
No. They're the most persecuted minority in the world.
Hey, white ladies, you suck.
No. They're the most persecuted They're the most persecuted people in the world. According to them, they're so persecuted. There's nothing worse than being a white woman. You can tell by this movie. Look how hard her life is. She has to throw bottles at slaves.
You suck.
She has it so hard, Derek. She has it so hard. She doesn't get to be the top master. She only can be the second master, Derek.
I hope I'm not ruining it, but Bill Burr said a great line. And he said, this nigga said, white women he said, all of you, he said, by the way, all of you bullshit white women acting like a oppressed minority, like you weren't in the hot tub with me. That line killed me. Like you bitches weren't, like you weren't in the hot tub with me.
Chappelle has a line, too. Y'all were part of the heist. You didn't like your cut of the take.
Cut of the take. That's another great. I mean,
Yeah.
White ladies, you got to stop acting like you're not in on this, man. It ain't been just men. The coldest line in the movie has been by a woman. The coldest line. The most hurtful thing I've heard so far out of niggers, all that shit, is your children will soon be forgotten. That was a woman saying that.
But they have it so hard, Derek. They have it so hard.
So he
They make more than black guys and black women and Mexican women, but they don't make as much as white guys. But they make more than all the other people, but not as much as white guys, and that's the problem.
Me. That's how y'all sound. Me. Fucking fish. So
You make 50 cents more than every Mexican woman. Shut up.
just shut up, white ladies.
Yeah,
Suck a dick.
either fight for everyone or shut up. One of the two.
Fuck up. So he walks alone to the goods place, right? And then he stops and he thinks, and then he just takes off running. Bro. And now he's going through the woods, and I love the camera shot is right behind his head. So you can just kind of feel, you're just with him running through these woods, and he's running. And then as he runs, he bends a corner, and he comes up on like 6 white guys with guns hanging 2 black guys. And he stops. And they go, come here, boy. And he's like, and they're like, oh, come on now, come here. And they grab him, and then he has a tag around his neck. And they go, where you going? Bartholomew's, sent by Mistress Epps. And they look at him. And like, all right, well, you get there now, boy. Get there quick. And then they kick him. And then the black man, as he walks by, they're looking at him like almost like help us, but I know you can't.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. It's almost a double thing. It was a double look of like,
Man, we know.
we know, and I wish you could.
Yeah.
Still,
Yeah.
like it was a begging look, but also a look of like,
What can you do?
Yeah.
Really?
you know, but also they're about to kill me, so please.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
oh God. And then he walks right by him, and then the moment he walks past him, you just see, shoot, and then they just fades out. So he cuts to the store. He gets all the supplies and the goods, and then he gets back home, and the wife asks, he's like, any trouble? No, ma'am. And she just stares at him like evilly, like she doesn't believe him. You know what I mean? Next scene is beautiful shots of the river.
Right.
Right. And we see Fassbender running up, and he goes, oh no, not Fassbender. We see Solomon.
Yes.
Running up, and he's running up to a house, and he goes, good morning, Master Shaw. And he's talking to another like landowner, right? And then he goes, I've been sent by Mr. Epps to retrieve Patsy. And he goes, well, you may. He goes, oh, thank you, sir. And then he runs up to this other guy's house, and he goes, excuse me, Mr. Shaw. And he's talking to Mistress Shaw, who's a black woman.
Okay.
Actress you'll recognize, by the way. I think
Okay.
it's not Angela Bassett, but it's a great black actress.
Yeah.
That's who this slave owner is with. Okay.
Right.
And Mr. Shaw, he's telling her, like, oh, I got to get Patsy back. Mr. Epps wants her back now. And she's telling him, like, oh, he's going to be angry no matter when you get her back. Sit down and have a cup of tea with me.
Right.
And he's like, yes, ma'am. You know what I mean? So he's asking why he wants Patsy back so fast. And then Solomon's like, oh, well, he really don't like, Mr. Epps really don't like Master Shaw. He just sent her over here because you have that power. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he goes, oh, well, why don't she like him? He's like, oh, he thinks he's a Lothario. He's like a Lothario, ladies' man, because of you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he goes, no disrespect towards you, ma'am. And she goes, none taken. She goes, I haven't felt a whip on my back or the fields in years. Small price to pay. Others served me when I used to be the one serving. You know what I mean? And then she looks at Patsy. She goes, you do what you must, sweetheart. You know what I'm saying? She goes, she said, the Lord will manage them. The Lord will manage all of them. Even worse than what the Pharaohs got.
Ooh.
So, Epps is sitting and he's drinking wine, right? And he's waiting.
Right.
Platt comes back, and as they're walking back, you can tell he's pissed. And then Platt whispers in Patsy's ear. He goes, don't look at Master. Just continue walking. And then she keeps walking and walking. He goes, Patsy! 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 And then she doesn't answer, right? And he goes, I brought her back just like you said, Master. And he goes, what'd you say to her? He goes, I didn't say nothing, Master. You liar! Tell me what you said. He goes, I didn't say nothing, Master. And then he tries to fight him. And Platt's like avoiding him, like, Master, I didn't say nothing. I didn't say nothing. And then he takes a knife out. Now he's trying to fucking kill him. You know what I mean? Yeah. Master, I didn't say nothing. Now they're running around the fucking thing. He's slipping through the pig trough, and then he tries to jump over this little fence to get to him, and he trips, and he fucking falls really hard, and he hurts himself, right?
Fassbender?
Yeah. And he gets up slow, and he starts laughing like crazy because he's drunk as shit. And he goes, it's the Lord's day. Ain't nothing Christian in us carrying on like this. I can see to you. Help your master to his feet. And then he goes to grab him, and then, of course, he fucking grabs him, and he pulls him in. He's like, I'll fucking kill you. And then right then the wife stops him. She goes, what are you doing? And he goes, and then really smart on Platt, he goes, Master's trying to make a fuss over Patsy. Because he knows the wife. He goes, oh, of course you are. And then the wife starts going off on him, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And then he kind of backs out of it, and he goes, you damn nigga liar. And then he walks off. And then and Solomon's just like, you know what I mean? Like, got out of that. Because I love how it because you're like, how the fuck is it? There's no way he's gonna get out of this. The Master's about to kill him.
Oh, he got lucky.
He's fighting with the Master.
Lucky.
He's also smart and know that's the thing. What would piss off the wife enough to get me out of this?
Yeah.
So it's late at night. Fassbender comes into the slave quarters. Mm-hmm. Solomon's up. He sees this and he kind of just watches. He does nothing. He grabs Lupita. He takes her out. He's now laying on top of her, right? He can tell he's kind of fucked up. And he puts his head on top of her head. Fassbender, he's rubbing it. And Lupita's just not making eye contact. And then he fucking lifts up her down her pants and up her kind of dress shit. And then you can tell he's just starts getting inside of her. And then she's just not looking at him. And then he starts fucking the shit out of her, bro. And he's angry fucking her. Oof. You know what I mean? Yeah. This scene is so dark. Angry fucking her. And then he's crying the whole time too. She's just not looking. No emotions. Like that, you know? He's crying. He's trying to get her to, grabbing her face, get her to look at him. It's fucking heavy, bro.
Yeah.
And then he comes, and then he raises up, and then he breaks down a little bit, and then he slaps the shit out of her. And then he starts choking her, like he's about to kill her. And then he stops himself. And then she's like, and she's looking up at him. And then he pulls up his pants and he leaves. And then it's just a shot of her for a minute, just
Jesus Christ.
Outside by herself.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Unreal. Her acting, dude. I mean, you've seen us or whatever. But her acting is, dear God, this woman can act.
She's great.
This woman
great.
Can act.
She's great. She's good at her job.
Yeah, I think she's the next one of the next big leading women. I think I said this, our next Natalie Portman possibly, of just a great leading woman actress who's beautiful and elegant in this way.
Right.
Because even in this, she's a slave, she's dirty, but she looks elegant the whole time.
Right.
Graceful. You know what I'm saying? You feel so much different for her. It's something about her.
She hasn't really said anything.
Yeah. She hasn't said anything, but how much she's stolen the whole movie. So, where are we at? Okay,
She just.
He just, yeah. So Solomon, the next morning, he's picking up more things from the Bartholomew store. And the guy hands him a bunch of rolls of paper. And he kind of looks at it. And then on the way back, he sneaks off to the side and he steals one. All right? And then he goes and he gives the mistress the thing and blah, blah, blah. Acts like nothing, Now he has a sheet of paper.
Oof.
Right? Can you imagine just the power of just one sheet of paper?
The pen is mightier than the sword.
Also, just, perspective, you're right, of just like what it is, like what we have.
Right.
Because he got that one sheet of paper, bro, and that shit
It's
is
freedom almost.
life. Or at least it's a chance at it. You're right. It's a chance at it. It's something. Because without it, it's nothing. We're talking about one sheet of paper.
Right.
So it's another night.
Literacy is so important. It's how you really keep a people down. How you really keep a people down is make sure they can't read.
They can't educate themselves.
Can't educate, because education,
Power.
motherfuckers,
So much
power,
dude.
power,
So
dude.
much
Knowledge is power.
So Epps is watching. It's another night where he's drunk and he's watching all the slaves dance, doing that thing he does. You know, his wife, baked cookies for all the slaves, and they're passing them out. And then he gets to Patsy, and then she goes, none for Patsy. Everyone else though. And so of course Patsy's like this, hands them out to everyone. I know, right? Patsy hasn't spoken. You're right, but it's just like, man,
Petty bitch.
it's a white woman. And then Patsy doesn't say anything, and then right then she goes, "Stop! Do you see that? Patsy just scorned me with her eyes." And then Epps, he goes, "Whatever, it's passed. Whatever it was, it passed." And then she goes, "Is that how you are with your niggas these days? Huh? Look at them. They foul at you with hate." And she looks at all the faces of them, and they're all just like not even looking at her. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they foul you with hate. You want these black animals to kill us in our sleep? You are manly. She says his name. You are manless eunuch. But if you're not gonna be a credit to our family, at least be a credit to your own kind and beat the foul out of every one of these bastards. And he looks at her.
White women are so persecuted.
And then after she says that, he doesn't do anything, and then she walks up to Patsy and she takes her nails and like that. And Patsy goes, "Ah! Ah!" And she goes, "Beat it from him! Beat it from him!" And he looks at her, he grabs, and he goes, takes Patsy outside to beat the shit out of her. And then she looks at the rest of the slaves. She goes, "Eat! I said eat!" And then they all start eating the cookie.
White
That's Patsy just getting
women, no one has it worse.
raped
White
and beaten.
women, no one has it worse.
Raped and beaten. Keep saying it.
But white women is still worse than that.
So, next night, Patsy wakes up Platt in the middle of the night.
Right.
All right? She shakes him. Her first words. She goes, "Platt, yes, I have a request." "What?" "An act of kindness." And then she hands him a little token. He's like, "Where'd you get this?" "I stole it from the mistress." "What do you want for it?" "Platt, I want you to take me to the swamp and put me under the water until I have no more life." No, I will not do what you speak. How can you fall into such despair?" "Platt, I got no comfort in this life." I started crying like a baby. "I got no comfort in this life."
Oof.
She goes, "If I can't buy your mercy, I'll beg for it." He said, "Please don't. I'm begging." He goes, "Why? Why would you co-sign me to this damnation?" "No. There's God in here. This is merciful. He gives merciful acts too. Please, Platt, do what I ain't got the strength to do myself." "No." He rolls over. And she just breaks down. This next shot's beautiful shots of caterpillars.
Right.
Beautiful shots of caterpillars all over the cotton fields.
Right.
Everywhere.
Right.
Fassbender's looking at his fields and he's like, "It's a plague. Biblical." And then he looked at all the slaves and they're just trying to pick the scraps that are out there. You know what I mean? And he goes, "God hates them. God hates this godless lot of slaves I got. They brought God's scorn on. They brought God's scorn on me. These monsters." And then it shows him riding out through the fields and he's just whipping them on a horse. Damn you all!" He's whipping them. So, next scene, he's taking all the slaves to Judge Turner. And he's telling them, Judge Turner done bought all you slaves for the season till my crops return. If y'all boys mess up in any way, I will take it out in the skin. You hear me? Yes, massa. Get out. So they all get out, right? So they're all now, all these slaves are all cutting sugar cane for Judge Turner. And it's the beginning of the movie.
Okay. Okay. Oh, wow.
Remember yeah.
Wow, it took us a while to get here, but we made it, guys.
I love when movies do this, though. We've been doing a lot of movies who've done this lately.
Yes.
Where they start and then come back. But I love when they come back and it's not the end.
It's
It's
called
like the middle.
In Medias Res.
Is that what that's called?
It means to start in the middle. In Medias Res.
I love that.
Yes. Yeah.
Because then when you do this, because it's like, I forgot about it. You forget about the beginning of the movie until this. You're like, oh, yeah, this is where we started.
Right. Yeah, I
He
totally
was cutting
forgot.
sugar cane and shit.
cane.
Yeah. So he's cutting sugar cane, and then it's it's him trying to write with the berries. He gets frustrated. Cuts to him with the weird sex scene. He rolls over the no emotion. He's sitting on the porch, and then the house slave of Judge Turner tells him, "Get off that porch! Get off that porch, boy! This ain't your house." And then right then, Judge Turner walks up to talk to Platt, and he asks if he's educated, and he goes, "Oh well, I play the fiddle." Platt says that. He goes, "Okay."
Do I recognize Judge Turner?
Yeah. I can't remember from what, but you recognize. Every actor you recognize.
Okay.
And then like the evil wife, Epps' evil wife, she's in Bird Box. She's the sister who goes crazy in the beginning.
Sarah, she's in the OJ.
Her.
Sarah Paulson.
She's the wife.
Sarah
I
Paulson.
was like, damn, I was like, oh,
She's a great actress.
and when every single person in this is an amazing. That's what you recognize. There's not a face you don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I couldn't think of it. But yeah, she got crazy how I'm leaving her like she's not a gigantic
Yeah,
actress.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Also, she's been killing it this movie.
Yeah,
like,
right?
The wife, she's been killing it, dude.
Yeah, she's genuinely scary.
She's so evil. She's so evil.
Yeah.
And like you believe it. Her eyes are, So he's talking to Judge Turner about the fiddle.
Right.
And so the Judge Turner says he's going to set him up with this gig. They're asking for a fiddle player.
Right.
And he goes, I recommended you. And he goes, and whatever you earn, you can keep. And Platt's like, thank you. And then he's like, all right, just mind yourself, Platt. And Judge Turner walks off. And then he gives him the fiddle and he scribbles. He's scribbling the names of his family, his wife, his daughter, and his son on the fiddle, right? And he's just looking at him and he's just crying. He's just trying not to cry. He's holding back tears.
Right.
So he's playing at this fancy party. It's just like the beginning of the movie. There's a big dance, a big rich party. Everybody's dancing, blah, blah, blah. He stops and it cuts to him. And this time, I remember last time he was like,
Yeah.
This time he's literally no life in his eyes, no life in his face. He's got slave clothes on. He's with other slaves who are also just like
All right. Just like done.
done. I mean, they're done, dude.
Yeah.
They're done. I mean, the life. Every human has so much life, bro.
Right.
Everybody. That's how that line of everybody has a breaking point.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That's real.
Everyone can be break.
Every
broken.
human.
Every human can
being.
be broken.
The strongest man, strongest woman, you can get broken, bro. It is what it is. Because it's mental. It's not physical.
Yeah.
So some people are mental. This guy's lasted how many years? This is so impressive how long he's even lasted.
Especially after knowing freedom.
I'd have broke after day one.
Day one. It's like, how do you know freedom and then not know freedom? That's awful.
Testament to your willpower, for sure.
Human beings are strong people.
Yeah. Very, yeah. Mm-hmm. So,
That sounded deep, but if you break it down, it was the dumbest thing I've ever said.
For sure. I'm going to take it for what it was. All the slaves are now walking back to Epps' property, right?
Right.
And the season, is over. The Judge Turner season. So they're walking back, and you hear, whoa, and they all stop. All their heads are down. They're all low, and it's a long shot of them walking up. And then, whoa, and then it's Epps, right? And he's got on just pretty much a white gown, no pants on, and he's holding hands with a little black girl.
All right.
That's what makes this scene so scary. Because this whole time, he's holding hands with this little black, like a little child, okay?
Right.
And he goes, joyous day, And he goes, my niggas have returned. And he's grabbing him. He's looking at him. He goes, and then he looks at Platt. And he goes, I heard Judge Turner did you a favor, boy. And then he's like, yes, sir. He's like, you are slick with your nigga ways, Platt. He's just holding this little girl's hand. That's why to me, it's just because he's just, this little girl's just kind of like playing, you know what I mean? And he's just so scary, dude. He's so intense. And then he goes, well, much work to do. Come on, boys. And then gets him right back to work. You know what I mean? Like, also, like, none of them even look at him, bro. They're all just so
afraid of him.
And just, and done with it.
Yeah.
So, Patsy, he's walking by, right? So, he's like, they're all going back to work, right? And he walks past Patsy, and she's working on the thing. And you see her, you can only see her from down. And then she looks up, and she is fucked up. Face is fucked up. Her eyes completely bloody, bloodshot red eye. You know what I mean? And she's just looking at like Platt. And you're just like, oh my God. And you're just like, what has her couple months have been?
Yeah, hell.
She was asking for him to kill her earlier, dude.
Yeah, I think you should have done it.
Golly. And it's also because I didn't realize that she doesn't say much in this movie at all.
No.
She wins an Oscar for this. So they're picking cotton again, right? Season's back. People are singing songs. And now there's a white guy out on the field next to Solomon. He's also picking cotton. And he's like hurting his fingers, and you can tell he's like, he can't really do it. And then they're all in the barn, and they're saying the numbers that everybody picked. And then they're saying how the white guy, he only picked 64 pounds. All right. And then they pull him out, like, you know, because he didn't hit the right weight. And so he pulls all the other black guys to go get whipped, and then he stops the white guy, and he goes, you got to work harder. Put more effort into what you're doing out here. And then he pushes him back, like, I'm not going to whip you, but, right? But this white dude is working as a slave.
Yeah.
All right?
Indentured servant, probably, something like that.
Mm-hmm. It's also, I love this movie because it's like, all these things are like, you think about things that are like, that would have happened.
Yeah.
There would be people like that. Who you
Yeah.
owe this guy money? It's like, well, there's one way to pay it off.
Yeah.
Get your ass in them fields.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he takes the black guys out, and they show them whipping the shit out of the black guys, blah, blah, blah. The white dude is now cleaning up Solomon's back.
Right.
Like he's, all the whip marks, just fucking gashed. You know what I'm saying? And he's cleaning it up. And he's telling him his story about how he was an overseer, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, and then Solomon's like, oh, I didn't know you were an overseer, sir. He's like, oh, don't call me sir, blah, blah, blah. I'm just a regular dude, man. I fuck up, blah, blah, blah. I fucked up. He's like, my job was, he's like, I became dependent on whiskey and less dependable on being a judge. You know what I mean? Like, just like talking to him and like just talking about how much he drank, and then he fucked his whole life up. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then, but he goes, I've done my fair share of overseeing, and I can say this: can no man take the last of humans back so many times without shredding a piece of himself? And he goes, and after a certain point, I trampled myself, with alcohol, with free, like he drank himself to death because he just couldn't handle being a plantation owner. He's a lot of people don't know, and then he's like, all the pressures of the money and all that shit. He just collapsed.
The business.
Also, you forget it's like, there would be so many people like that. Business owners. How many business owners fail? It's like, there will be plantation owners who are like, I couldn't handle it. And now I'm working for some motherfucker.
Right. That's pretty wild.
Crazy, but I love that. I love knowing shit like, that definitely would have happened.
That's pretty wild.
How many people lose businesses today? Why wouldn't people lose businesses back then?
Yeah.
And especially slave owning was such a big business back then. So many people would have tried to get into it and failed. Because they didn't know how to do it. Don't know how to run slaves. Don't know how to fucking
Don't know how to run a business in general.
Don't have enough money
capital
that it would take to really feed these slaves and buy new ones and keep the upkeep and all that shit.
Right.
So Solomon's listening to all this story, blah, blah, blah. And then the guy's telling him how he's just like, man, I just want to make a decent wage and get back home, man. I'm just trying to get back north. I'm not even trying to do any of this shit. So Solomon's hearing all this, and then he runs out to a tree. And then he runs back. And then he hands him something. The guy goes, what is this? He goes, it's a few pickaninnies. It's all I have. It's just a couple of dollars from what he made for playing, right?
Yeah.
He goes, it's a little bit of money, but all I have. He goes, I'll give you this if you don't expose me. And the guy goes, what? He goes, I need your word. You won't tell one soul what I'm about to tell you. He goes, what is it? He goes, I only ask you deposit a letter. He goes, and if you keep that action, and he goes, and I need you to keep that action a secret forever. And he goes, what? What do you need? He goes, I require a patron, sir. And the guy goes, but I'll be putting myself at risk if I do that, blah, blah, blah. He goes, listen, sir, I know, blah, blah, but I'll give you all the money I have and all the favor. And then by the time I am free, I'll help you even more.
Right.
And the white guy's like, okay, I'll do it. They shake, right? And then he goes, I'm going to draw up a letter. We'll meet back in 2 days. He's like, okay. And he tells him, thank you. So Solomon gets to whittling. He whittles a pen. He heats up some crazy liquid concoction, and then he fucking writes a letter. So he manages to write this letter with this weird shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Folds it up, hides it. So a candle is lit. You think it's his. You see fucking Magneto's face come up. And he walks up real slowly. And he wakes up Solomon. Get up, boy. Takes him outside.
Oh, the white guy gave him up.
He goes, well, boy, I understand we got a learned nigga here. Solomon's eyes get real big. Who writes letters and trusts white men to send them out for him. What? Armsman told me the devil was amongst my niggas. He said you come over to him, wanting to carry him a letter to Marksville. What you got to say to that? and he's just holding them like this, right? You got the candle, so it's just the candle right here. You can just see their face. Like you got the lantern. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's just them. Right?
Again, don't trust white people.
In this era of time, Solomon. I mean, we gonna learn that lesson, buddy.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Gotta learn that lesson.
What are you doing?
So, what you got to say to that? I say there's no truth to it, master. Oh, that's what you say. How could I write a letter? I have no ink, no paper. I have no family to write to. That Armsby, he's a liar. You know, he wants to use, he's drunk, and he wants to use you to hire him as an overseer. He's playing on your emotions, sir. You know, he's playing on the situation. He's just lying to you, master, that's all. He's just lying to you so you can make him an overseer. And then Magneto stops, and he's just staring so deep in his eyes. He goes, well, I'll be damned. You're right, Platt. And he has a knife, and it's a huge knife in his hand. He holds it up. You see it for the first time. And he puts it on Platt's chest. He goes, were he not white and free, Platt? Whew, were he not right and free? And then he walks off. And Platt's just like, how the fuck did I get out of that?
Quick thinking.
Sam said this best. She was like, I can't believe he got out of that. She's like, oh, but he was smart enough to realize, just like the wife, I don't even know, the wife played on the emotion of, oh, you don't do the job. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
somebody's trying to get over on you.
Right.
Like, remember, she kept saying, like, oh, you don't treat your niggas hard enough. They're all getting over on you. They're going to kill you. You know, and that's how he gets. Same thing. He literally does the same thing to him. He goes, oh, this guy's just trying to get over on you, master. You don't see it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you're right. You know what I mean? So it's like.
And he doesn't view black people as people who can read and write.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and where would he get paper?
Where would he get paper? Well, he doesn't have a family. Where, you know what I mean?
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
What is he
would
writing? Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this guy is just trying to be an overseer. You know what I'm saying? But like, how quick is that thinking?
Yeah, that's
Because that guy also was trying to be an overseer.
right.
Very smart on that guy.
Right. He was like, I can flip this.
I can flip this and get a better job for myself.
Right. Whew.
Crazy.
Whew.
So he runs off. He runs back to the letter, to where he hid his letter, and he burns it. And with tears in his eyes, bro, this scene is so harsh. He watches it until it burns all the way. They show it literally burning all the way down.
Right.
And he's just, you know what I mean? So all the slaves another day are singing and picking cotton. And as this is happening, another slave just drops. Poof. And they all stop and look at him. And they're like, get that boy some water. And then they walk over. They get the guy a little water. They throw water on him. Get up. And the black guy's like, nigga, get up. And then he calls over the master. And then the master comes over and he's like, get up, nigga. Get up, boy. And they keep kicking him. They're just kicking him. And then finally the old black guy takes his hat off because you can tell he's like he realizes he's dead. And he's like, oh, get on now, boy. You niggas get back to work. You two, come bury him. And then he tells Solomon and some other guy to go bury this guy. So now they're burying him, right? So they bury him. And then they get done. And Solomon's about to walk off. And then one of the other guy goes, hold on. I just want to say a few words. Here lies John. He was always a good person. Always helpful. God bless him. He was a good man. Amen. So hard to do it, right? Just
Good God.
Just like, man, we should at least say something.
Yeah, right? It's a human being.
That you've been knowing for years now.
Yeah, right? Jesus
Well,
Christ.
not know him. You know how well do you know him, but still, you know
Right.
him.
Right.
You know. So now they're at like a funeral for this guy. Like all the slaves are at the plot, right?
Right.
And then they're singing. I said, roll, Jordan, roll. Roll, Jordan, roll. You know? And all the slaves are singing, and it's close up on Solomon, right? And he's the only one not singing. He's kind of just looking at the plot, you know? And he looks around for a while, and then he starts singing. Roll, Jordan, roll. Roll, Jordan, roll. My soul will rise in heaven, Lord, that year when Jordan rolled. And then he just starts crying. And literally, he's singing. I would say, describe this as this acting. He was singing to keep himself from going insane.
Ooh, that's cool.
Roll, Jordan, roll. Roll, Jordan, roll. Like that. You know what I mean? Like, is it because also he watched this man, man drop dead going, is this going to be me?
Ooh.
Am I just gonna be out in these fields and just drop dead?
one day?
And that's it. They sing a song and
it's over, and you never get to see your wife and kids again.
it never mattered anyway.
Nope. 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 Nope.
So Solomon is working on a shed, right? Next day, early morning, he's working on the shed, building this shed. And he's working with Brad Pitt.
Here we go.
I know you were waiting for that, weren't you?
Yeah,
Like, where does he come into
I'm
this?
pretty sure he's in this. Yeah.
So Brad Pitt also produced this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Brad Pitt has made this movie pretty much. It's crazy. How crazy
That's
is that?
crazy. That is crazy.
So
Fucking what, dude? He can do everything. Fuck him, bro. Seriously, Brad Pitt.
he gave himself a
you're like-
minor role. Didn't give himself the biggest role.
You're talented. You're rich. You're beautiful. Fuck you, dude.
Humble. Could have gave himself the Fassbender role.
Yeah.
Clearly coulda gave himself the Fassbender role.
Fuck you. Be bad at something, dick.
The thing about that is, he produces. He could have given himself clearly the better role.
Yeah, he could have.
The Oscar-winning role.
Yeah, he could have. He could have. And he could have. He's good enough to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like he's like
But
shitty
he
actor.
was been like, oh, this guy is better.
Yeah.
This guy, or something about this guy is better.
Yes.
And willing to appreciate. I love a guy.
Best product over self.
That's why Brad Pitt's doing it. Also, that's why he's Brad fucking Pitt.
Yeah.
So Solomon's working on the shed with him, right? Epps walks up and he asks Bass, that's the guy, Brad Pitt's name, Bass, if he wants a drink. And then he's like, oh, I don't want to drink while I'm working. And then he looks up, and then Epps is like, why are you laughing? Because Bass kind of laughs to himself. He's like, oh, I just want to finish the job at hand, sir. That's all. And then Epps is kind of looking at him and he's like, something rub you wrong, Bass. I wish you'd speak on it. Like, you can tell he has a problem with him. You know what I mean? There's an energy.
Right.
Solomon's kind of just there working nervously, like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Because you can feel there's a little tension there.
Right.
And then when he goes, well, if you ask me, I will speak on it. And then they start arguing over the idea of slavery. Like the concept of it, right? And so he goes, what right you, he goes, so let me ask you this. What right do you have to these say niggas? This Brad Pitt, right? And he goes, well, I bought them and I paid for them. And he goes, and that right says you can hold a nigga. You bought him, you paid for him. And then he goes, yeah, of course it does. And he goes, all right, well, suppose the law is passed taking away your liberties. I could buy and pay for you. Well, that ain't real, blah, blah, blah. Well, laws change, do they not? You know, he's like, and you tell he's way smarter than him. You know what I mean? And that's, which I love Fassbender because he's such a Southern idiot. He's just like, drunk, like arguing out of anger and emotion. You know what I mean? And he goes, what are you trying to say? He goes, I'm just trying to say white and black alike, laws are laws. You know, like at the end of the day, this is a law. This is why this is happening. Like, take skin color, which is a great point. Like, let's take that out of it and just talk about the law of it. You know? And he goes, are you trying to compare me to a nigga, Bass? And he gets in his face. And then you can see Brad Pitt's like, oh, this guy's a fucking idiot. Right. I love it. And he backs down and he goes, no. Just in the eyes of God, what's the difference? The difference? What's the difference between man and baboon? You know? And he goes, and he starts arguing like more and more. And then Pitt listens to him and he backs off and he goes, well, I know this. You and men like you alike will have to answer for this one day. And then he goes, oh, you like to hear yourself talk, don't you, Bass? I bet it's fine. He said, I bet this kind of talk's fine when you lived amongst Yankees or in England. But you don't now, do you? And he's like right up in his face. And Brad Pitt's like, I most certainly do not. And then Solomon is just like watching this shit like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And then he gets back, like Brad Pitt backs down. Like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, you're at your house, your rules.
Your rules, yeah.
I'm a guest at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, God, it's a good movie, dude. So,
Jesus Christ.
You go like it's quiet, and then it's the next day, right? And then you hear, I knew it from inside the house. I knew it, Patsy. And you see Epps running out of his house, and he's screaming, Patsy, where's Patsy? And he comes up on these two other slave girls. Where is she? And they go, we know nothing, master. She gone. Where'd she run off to? And they go, we don't know, master. We don't know. I don't know. You miserable black dog, you speak. And it's like, and they're all fucking scared. And the camera's right up on him. Such a great shot. And he's, you know? Mm-hmm. And then they're staring at him. And then he finally, he calms down, and then he hugs one of the slaves, and she's crying. He goes, she gone. My Patsy gone. Later on that day, you see Patsy bent in the corner. All happy and frolic, you know what I mean? Epps runs off the front door. You run off? Grabs her, throws her. You run off, huh? You run off? No, I just took a walk with the Lord. And he goes, no, you went up to Master Shaw plantation, didn't you? You up there with Master Shaw? And she goes, yes, I did. And then right then Solomon runs up and he tries to break him up. And then Master Epps slaps the shit out of him. Bow, get out of here, Solomon, Platt. And then she goes, I did, Master. She goes, to get this from Mistress Shaw. She opens her hand, and it's a tiny, this big, bar of soap. Okay? Tiny bar of soap. Your wife won't grant me no soap to clean with. I stink so much I make myself gag. 500 pounds of cotton a day. Day in, day out, 500 pounds. And for that, I will be clean.
Damn, even like, what does Ep say to that?
Everybody has a breaking point, bro.
Yeah.
And that was hers.
Yeah.
I will not
Pick all this cotton for you. I picked the most cotton for you.
You rape me. You beat me beyond like no one else.
You let
because
your
you love me.
And you let your
You
wife.
let your wife beat me. I will be clean.
Mm-hmm.
I will be clean. I like that. Yeah, I will stand here.
This is the hill I will die on if I have to.
I love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah.
Tie her up to this post. It's so hot.
God, this sounds awful.
Tie her up to this
Jesus.
post.
Yeah.
All right, and then they show her back. Her back is just beaten. Her back is so beaten it doesn't make sense too.
Oh my God.
It's crazy how beaten her back is. How strong this woman would have had to been, and
yeah.
Oh my Lord. So he looks at it. He goes, "You done this to yourself." And right then his wife walks out. And she goes, "Do it. Strike the life from that black devil." That bro, the wife is so scary, dude. You know what I mean? And then Epps is staring at her, and he's got the whip in his hand, and he starts crying, and he can't hit her. He loves her too much. He can't do it. And then he looks at Platt, and he goes, "You, beat her." And Platt doesn't move. "Come here, Platt." Platt doesn't move. "Come here now, Platt. You do it now." And he gives him the whip. And then Patsy, bro, this is what made me cry like a baby. Patsy yells, "I'd rather it be you, Platt. I'd rather you."
Jesus Christ.
And then he goes, "Strike her, Platt. Strike her." And Lupita starts crying, and then he hits her. But he's not hitting her hard. He's like the least amount of hit he can do. You know what I mean? He's
Right.
like, but it's still whoosh,
Yeah, it still cracks.
whoosh, like he's barely, and then whoosh, and then she's like, ah, and like still stings her. You know what I mean? And he's like, oh. And then the wife goes, "He pantomimes, barely a welt on her. That's what your niggas think of you." And she's whispering this in his ear. And he's getting more mad. "Strike her, Platt! Strike her, Platt!" And she's crying. And then he goes, and then he grabs a gun from one of his overseers, and he walks up to Platt, and he puts it right in his head. "I will kill every nigga in sight. Strike her!" And Platt really starts crying, and then he just, whoosh, and Lupita, whoosh, 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 bro, and she's just, whoosh, bro, until he whips her until he can't, he's tired. And he stops, and then he goes, "Till I said no more. I said nothing, Platt." Platt doesn't move. "Give me the whip." Platt doesn't move. "Give me the whip." And then he beats it from Platt and whips him a little bit. Whoosh, whoosh. And then he looks at Lupita, and then he beats Patsy's back beyond belief. And they show it, bro. They show all of it. This shit makes Passion of the Christ look like a fucking joke when I say they show it. They show Lupita's bare ass, bare back, blood, and they show every time that whip hits the miss. You know what I mean? Whoosh, whoosh, to that point where you're screaming, but it's like no, like that shit.
God damn, dude. Just think like,
Hits her, I'm going to say, no bullshit, maybe 15, 20 times.
Jesus Christ. Good Lord.
To death, like would have, to death, pretty
He
much.
beats her to death?
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
So-
Damn. This is how bad Lupita has it. Can you imagine how bad white women have it now? This is how bad Lupita has it, and white women are the most persecuted people on the planet. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry, white ladies. You have to go through all this. Sorry.
So, she, you fucking idiot.
I gotta laugh, baby.
So he as he's beating her, Platt yells out, "Sooner or later, this sin will have judgment." Right? And he finally stops whipping her. He's breathing. He looks at Platt and he goes, "Sin, there is no sin. Man does how he pleases with his property." And he looks at Platt and he goes, "You be careful not to lighten my mood any further. Not to lighten my mood any further, Platt." And then he walks off, throws the whip down. Ooh. Platt runs up to Patsy and he unties her. As they untie, she just falls. Her hand comes undone. The little piece of soap comes out, and it just kind of zooms in on the soap. The shot, I mean, powerful shot, man.
Jesus Christ.
Because it's like, oh, she held onto the soap the whole time.
Jesus Christ. She died on the hill. She died on clean. She will be clean.
Oh, dude, I love it. I mean, whew. So Platt sits alone, and he, before that, right. They take her like inside the house, and her back is just so beaten. They show it. They just zoom down it, and it's just fucking. It's just not even a back, it's just skin.
Yeah,
it's just like under the skin type shit. And they're cleaning her up, and she's trying to, like, you know, and all the slaves are just surrounding her, and they're all crying as she's just screaming in pain. And then she looks up at Platt, and her and Platt look at each other, and then she just cries more. Like, she stopped crying, and then she just breaks down again. And Platt walks out, right? So Platt sits alone, and he's tuning his violin, and one of the strings pop, and then he just breaks the whole violin into a million pieces. I love that, too.
It's great.
Because that is how that would feel, you know?
Yeah.
Just that one string popping is just like...
It's over. Everything.
So he breaks the whole violin into a million pieces. Mm-hmm. So he works on the house, next scene with Brad Pitt again, right? And he goes, "Master Bass, I want to ask you something." Go right ahead, Platt. "Where you come from?" "I originate from Canada, actually." "You want to get?" He's like smiling. Brad Pitt. "You want to guess where that is?" Like laughing. And he goes, "Oh, I know. I've been myself. Montreal, Quebec, Queenston, Kingston. I've been all over Canada." And then he looks at him. And he goes, "Whoa, you well traveled for a slave." You know what I mean? Like, what slave's been to all over Canada?
Yeah,
like, let alone Canada at all.
Yeah, what free man now has been all over Canada?
That's what I'm saying. I've never been to Canada yet.
Yeah.
You?
No.
So
no.
He goes, "Wow, well traveled for a slave." And then he goes, and then Master Bass looks at him and goes, "Why are you here?" He looks at him. He's all nervous. "Master Bass, justice is done. I've never been here at all." And he goes, and Brad Pitt gets all serious. He goes, "How's this? You tell me the whole thing." And then he looks at him and he like breaks down. He's like, "I'm afraid to tell you." I wish he's like, because he's like, dude, he's like, "I've learned this lesson
hard
twice now, trusting white men."
Yeah.
Twice, and I can't believe I got out of both of them alive.
And also, he got fucked over by the black dude who thought he was a free slave.
3 times.
3 times.
Trusting people, I fucked.
Yeah. So why should I trust you?
Right. Mm-hmm. And then he goes, and then Brad Pitt looks at him and goes, "Every word you speak to me is a pronounced secret." Huh. They look at each other and they work more, and then it cuts to, and like they've worked on a lot of the house, and they're sitting. He goes, Brad Pitt's like, "That is an amazing story, and in no good way." And then Platt looks at him and like, "Do you believe in justice, sir?" And he's like, "Of course I do." "Well, if you truly do, then I ask, I beg, that you write my friends in the North, tell them my situation, and beseech them to forward my free papers. It would be an unspeakable kindness to see my wife and family." And Brad Pitt, he's just crying, right? And Brad Pitt's just looking at him, and he's like, "I traveled this country for 20 years. My freedom is everything. I can walk away tomorrow, and that brings me much pleasure. But my freedom means nothing. Yours, well, it might mean a hell of a lot to a whole lot of people. I will help you."
Finally, a fucking good guy.
You know?
Jesus Christ.
"But what you ask of me, I will admit I am afraid." And he looks up, and one of the plantation overseers is walking up towards him. And he gets real close, and he goes, "But I will write your letter. And I hope it brings you your freedom. Now kindly, hand me the those shingles. And then right there, he's like, what y'all talking about? And then he hands him the shingles, and he's just, Solomon's just like crying, like trying to, like, you know what I mean? Just keeping it together. So time passes, like seasons pass, you know what I mean? Solomon, it shows Solomon, and he's just staring off into despair for a long time, like as seasons pass. You know what I'm saying? So Solomon and other slaves are working on this field. They're plowing. They're plowing.
Right.
White man rolls up on horses.
Right.
3 white guys. A man jumps out the buggy and he runs up towards the slaves. Platt! Platt! Where's the boy Platt? Come here, boy. Platt, broken. He's so at this point now he is broken. A broken man. Just, I don't look at you. Just all that. You know what I mean? He goes, your name Platt? Yes, sir. You know that man? Points over and he looks over at the white guy in the buggy and he's looking at him. He doesn't recognize him. He's just looking at him. And then the white guy kind of comes closer and he goes, Mr. Parker? And then he looks, Mr. Parker. And then he goes, answer me, boy. Do you have another name? Yes, my name is Solomon Northup. And he goes, I have a wife, 2 children. And then the guy starts asking a bunch of questions. He starts saying the answers to all the questions, right? Like, and he starts walking like towards the white guy, like just disbelief, like. And then you see Epps run out. He's like, hey, where you going, boy? Hey, who are y'all? Where you going, my boy? And then Epps, he goes, he runs up. He goes, what's going on? And then Solomon runs up and he hugs Mr. Parker. Mr. Parker, Mr. Parker. And then he grabs Epps and he goes, unhand him. He goes, that is my nigga. I paid for him. He goes, you unhand him or I'll bankrupt you in the courts. This is not your nigga. This is a free man, Solomon Northup. You know what I mean? And he goes, what? That is my nigga. That is my nigga, Platt. You do not go anywhere. I'll give you 200 stripes across your back, Platt. And then Platt's just like, he's just like walking to the buggy. He's just like completely ignoring everything. Like, and his face is shaking. And then right there you hear, Platt, Platt. And he stops and he looks and it's Patsy. And she's like, and then he's about to get on the buggy and he stops and he runs towards her, right? And he hugs her. And they're just hugging each other. And they're both just crying. And then he goes to break free and she won't let him go. She won't let him go, right? And then he finally like lets go and then like they're holding hands and then he like lets go. And then he walks to the buggy, right? And it's him walking to the buggy and then he gets on and then the buggy whips. Whoosh, and then the buggy, and now Patsy's in the distance and then she just goes, and she faint. Like literally, she falls down. And she just wails. You can see this. This is because it's the shot of his face. You see this happening behind him. And he's like this. And he doesn't turn. As Patsy just screams from behind him.
Oh, god damn, dude. Patsy's life fucking sucks. He should have just killed her.
Right? That's what Sam's like. He should have killed her.
He should have killed her.
It was literally an act of murder. That was an act of God.
Yeah.
That legitimately
would have been an act of God. Mercy. Just mercy. Give her some mercy, man. She needs it.
Also, I respect. She's like, I can't kill myself. I have too much resolve. Something, whatever the strength she had to keep going anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of strength this woman has.
Crazy.
With no shot of freedom, no shot of a better life. Also, no chance of not only a better life, but no chance of a better day.
No.
Not even like a day or a better hour that's going to like, oh, this minute will be better.
No.
So he rides off, right? So he gets back home. He's at his front door. He's in a suit. He's sitting next to Mr. Parker. He's back outside his house. His hair is completely gray now. You know what I mean? Like he's all bent over. Remember the free man I told you that was all elegant?
It's gone.
He's all like, now so he walks into his house. His wife has gray hair. His kids are completely grown. His daughter's holding
a baby,
and there's a man next to it, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're all like and they're all looking at him. They're all dressed still very nice, and they look elegant. You know what I mean? And he's all hunched over, and it's quiet. And he goes, I apologize for my appearance, for I had a difficult time these past several years. And then he breaks down. And then he looks up and he's like, Margaret, Alonzo. And then his daughter walks up and she just hugs him. And then he looks so broken of a man. Like he's not making eye contact with any of them. You know what I mean? Just it's such a powerful scene, bro. Of like, man, bro, how do you go back? How do you even go back? They took who you are. You were Platt.
Yeah.
You don't even know who Solomon Northup is anymore.
No, that guy's gone.
And you're right. Even if you do, can't get it back. He's gone. You got to be
gone.
this new Solomon Northup.
Yeah.
But whoever he was,
It's over.
that got beaten out of him.
Yes. Broken.
You were Platt.
Yeah. Epps broke him.
Yeah, Epps definitely broke him.
Epps broke him. That was his.
Cumberbatch was breaking him, and all that stuff was breaking him. But Epps broke him. Patsy broke. I mean, all that stuff broke him.
He's broken.
So,
He's not. So he's hugging his kids.
he's hugging his kids.
Yeah.
He looks at the young man holding the baby. He goes, "Who is this?" And she goes, "This is my husband." And he goes, "Husband?" And he goes, "Very good to meet you, sir. We have much acquainting to do." And then Platt's like, Solomon's like, yes, we do. Yes, we do. And then he goes, "This is your grandson, Solomon Northup." And then he completely breaks down. Solomon. You know, like, I mean, dude, you're just crying. Yeah,
Yeah.
There's no way you don't. I mean, just
Yeah.
fucks you up. And he's like, "Solomon." And then he goes, "Forgive me." Because he's not looking at him. He's like, "Forgive me." And then the wife grabs him. And she's like, "There is nothing to forgive. You have nothing to forgive." And then the whole family just grabs him. And he just breaks down. Fade to black. 12 Years a Slave. Solomon Northup was one of the few victims of kidnapping to regain freedom after slavery. Only a few people did this.
Yeah.
Solomon brought the men responsible to trial. Unable to testify against whites in the nation's capital, he lost the case against the slave pen owner, James Birch. After a lengthy proceedings in New York, his kidnappers, Hamilton and Brown, also avoided prosecution.
Sounds like the North.
In 1853, Solomon published the book 12 Years a Slave. He became active in the abolitionist movement, lectured on slavery throughout the northeast of the U.S., and aided and helped fugitive slaves in the Underground Railroad himself. The date and location of his location and circumstances of Solomon's death are still unknown. 12 Years a Slave.
Oh, bro, that motherfucker got killed.
You already know. I mean, dude, he wrote a book, giving tours, actively helping people on the Underground Railroad.
You got killed.
The story got told.
It's the best you can do.
And we're telling it again. And hopefully this, you know what I mean? The story just, stories like this I love. I thought this movie's great because it's like, oh, this is fuck a slave. I was like, oh, this is all the people who were like, oh, it's another slave movie. It's like, no, bro. Every slave movie don't win all the Oscars for a reason. This movie was a movie. This movie was a fucking realistic telling of that period in America. And during that period in America, there were slaves. Deal with it.
I think we can all walk away from this movie knowing in our hearts that there's nothing worse than being a white woman in America today.
Yep.
And that's the lesson of 12 Years a Slave.